Spaghetti. Yo, what up? Jason Gig, how's it going? Oh. Ugh. Oh. Oh, man.
Going on, everyone? So we've got some pretty wild footage coming out of Ukraine today showing the effectiveness of their medium-range strike operations. I mean, the clip you're seeing right here are Ukrainian FPVs flying over Donetsk. That's an area in eastern Ukraine that really, since 2014, Russian forces have felt pretty safe. Not anymore. And to that end, the Ukrainian Unmanned Systems Forces sent a message to Russia earlier today saying, quote, "You're screwed."
Wow, dude. Oh, that's horrible. Imagine being a Russian soldier. Bro, get fucked. Do you have visible abs now? They're starting to kind of like show sort of like, I don't know what people's standards are. Like, I do have the V. That's very visible. You know that like V that your like obliques make? What's the thing? Oh yeah, Frank. Let's see if Frank, if he oh my god, why is it doing this? Oh, F1 introduced some new rules. Oh jeez. Oh my god, not again. 40 minutes, what I eat in a week. Oh jeez. Why the fuck? This is gonna be painful.
You sound tired. New Frank vid uploaded.
Yeah, we can see that. He has a new short as well. We'll watch this. Thanks for the donation, James. My cat wants my salad. It's a salad cat.
The F1.
I don't know if tired is the right way to put it. I feel kind of high in a weird way.
So Dr. Taban makes me blind, disabled, and disfigured.
He's not blind. He can drive a car.
And I call up every lawyer in California. Not one of them wants to help me.
That's not true.
I filed the court case myself, and the judges just throw out the cases. All corrupt as...
The judge didn't throw out the case. Frank actually tried to stop the lawsuit. So he's lying again.
you could ever imagine. So I figure I have to make this as public as possible. I hired someone with the little money I have to hand out flyers outside his office, like these business cards, botched by Taban. Dr. Taban left me disfigured and half blind. And this guy started acting suspicious that I hired. He was supposed to be outside Dr. Taban's office wearing a t-shirt that has this on it and also handing out material. But I had people check on him a few times. He wasn't there handing out flyers. And Dr. Taban is still booked out 2 months. And
oh, what a surprise. Somebody's ripping Frank off.
Every time I talked to this guy on the phone, he was kind of acting weird and fishy. And I eventually figured it out that Dr. Taban had someone convince this guy to lead me on, to have me pay him every single week to hand out these flyers, but he wasn't actually handing them out. And the way I figured this out was auditing him and Google Analytics location checking where people were visiting the website from. And
there's no possible way he could he could know any of this. So now he's making up another accusation against Dr. Taban. And he's in a lawsuit. Like, maybe he just doesn't care at this point. Like, who the fuck knows? But, dude, this guy, this guy is just so cracked. I've never seen anybody act this way, aside from maybe Johnny Somali. But that's a criminal case. It's a little different. But I've never seen the guy, like anybody, act this way when they have some sort of like civil or criminal litigation against them.
No one was visiting it from his office area. So basically, I now have to file another lawsuit against Dr. Bond and this employee for conspiring together to commit time fraud, which is it's actually a criminal action. And Dr. Taban's filing all these motions, complaining I'm filing all these lawsuits against him. Maybe you shouldn't have botched and disfigured me, then tried to file a restraining order against someone who lies in bed most of the day. Oh yeah, and then getting their TikTok account taken down multiple times, or conspiring with his employee. These people are evil as can be. They think they're smarter than everyone else, and that you're never going to figure out what they're doing. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. And this is actually why I'm making this video, because this is textbook gang stalking behavior. Like, personally insulting me, which is ridiculous. Like, trying to...
How is this gang stalking?
defend it, all this crazy stuff. You need help and stop being gay. Turn your life over to Jesus and ask him for relief. What? Dude, you're getting fired for committing time fraud. What are you talking about? This guy was clocking in before driving to work, and then he was surprised when I called him up asking me, why, what are you doing? You're not getting paid to drive into work. No one gets paid for their commute into work, and he was acting like that's totally normal.
No, there are people who get paid to drive to work. It just depends on the contract.
And I was like, this conversation's crazy. I'm not having this. But complete insanity. These secret society gang stalkers, dude. Regardless of what happens, all you guys are gonna burn in hell.
What a whack job. Kid Boo, donate $2. Okay, this looks like it's not doing what it's supposed to. Whoa. I don't know if I should watch this whole thing. Yeah, this is not doing what it's supposed to. Holy shit. Is this fucking real? Yeah, I could see that killing somebody if that goes on long enough. I was worried they were gonna like smack on the pavement or something and it was some like fucked up gore video. That's not smart. What is this guy? Is he drinking isopropyl alcohol? That'll kill you.
Hey, you guys, we catch y'all later, man.
Yeah, that'll, like, actually kill you. Okay, that's great. Thanks, dude.
Did you hear that SJWs are trying to avoid the draft? VG.
I'm Dominique Lay, your neighborhood reporter in Waco. Did you know a young man turning 18, applying for his driver's license, or filling out any government forms may also be signing up for the military draft? Starting this December, automatic selective service registration becomes law.
I wasn't expected to be hearing that today.
It's something most guys about to turn 18 know, but most others don't. That's the age when males are required to sign up for the selective service. But in December, that will shift to automatic registration for all eligible men ages 18 to 25.
I think I'd rather the registration be something that I choose to do.
I met with some students at Baylor University and broke down the new law.
If I'm going to get drafted, I'd rather just have it be done the easier way.
It'll definitely make the process quicker.
Here's what we know. Automatic registration was signed into law in December 2025 as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. Right now, U.S. male citizens and immigrants ages 18 to 25 are required to self-register in the selective service system with.
Well, it's really easy. If you're worried about being up for a draft, just get a false diagnosis of schizophrenia or be fat. If you're obese, they won't draft you.
Within 90 days of their 18th birthday, with late registration available until age 26. But with this new law, proponents say it's meant to save the selective service system millions of dollars and streamline the existing self-registration process. So what are the exemptions? Hospitalization, incarceration, current non-immigrant visas, those on active duty, and women. That means asylum seekers,
women,
green card holders, men with disabilities, and dual citizenship do have to register.
With my other country of citizenship, I'm required to go to military after 18 if I enter the country again, and now having another country where that may be the case is a bit worrying.
And in case you're wondering, the last active draft ended in 1973.
I don't like these dudes who are social justice warriors who are worried about it. They're all fat gay retards. Like literally all of them. Like Dark Synovia, like that's the type. So like as if you're going to get drafted, like you're going to be called into a recruitment office. They're going to take one look at you and say, "Yeah, well, sorry for wasting your time. Next." Like I don't know what the fuck they're worried about. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
You still pissed off today?
No, I feel substantially better. Thanks for asking. Thanks for the donation, Josiel.
Damn, that has got to be a safety violation. Whoever runs that amusement park should go to jail.
Yeah, true. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
So this is my simplest and probably most recommended detox meal for someone who's in a very poor state of health, as in this will have you feeling the best. It's going to
It's like bread, hummus, an apple, and some like gross, disgusting, not even cooked through ground beef. I don't know if that's gonna make you feel great.
keep your digestion moving as much as possible and reducing stress on the liver. Stuff like rice.
The diet that causes the highest gut motility is a raw vegan diet. So eating like nothing but fruits and vegetables.
Can be high in arsenic, and the white rice tends to slow down your gut motility because of the lower fiber content. So just having steak and rice isn't necessarily the greatest meal. If I were to have sweet potatoes or something, that's been a nice recent addition, but sweet potatoes do not have the bile absorbing properties that grain has. So this bread, if you put it in a bowl of water, will actually absorb the water. Sweet potatoes, I mean, if you cook them and caramelize them a little bit, they will absorb some water, but not nearly as much. Same thing with beans.
Whether or not something absorbs water doesn't have anything to do with preventing bile acid reabsorption.
Men with disabilities, I thought you would not get drafted if you have a disability like autism.
There's a huge amount of disabilities or conditions that will make you what is it? That would disqualify you from the draft. So I'm sure autism would be one of those. Schizophrenia, I know gender dysphoria is one. There's a whole host. I don't know if being gay would disqualify you from the draft anymore. I know it used to, but there's a whole host of things that would disqualify you from a draft, which most of these social justice warrior fucktards have at least one disqualifying thing for the draft. So I don't know why they're so worried. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
What kind of rice did I eat today, VG? You know I showed you.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning it. Thanks for the donation, jackass.
Even after it's cooked, this bean puree, if you put a little water in it, it will absorb it. So that's important because in the digestive tract, your liver is releasing bile. And if there's nothing to absorb that bile, it's going to get reabsorbed back in the small intestine, back into your liver. So all those toxins that your liver was trying to excrete will get reabsorbed. And when you combine bile absorbing grains with higher gut motility stuff like apples, a balance of sugar, the source of protein is mainly for B vitamins and maintaining cellular health, but some people you might find you're better off not having any protein at all some meals of the day and just having this, especially when starting off. You might only have a smaller amount of protein in the beginning of the day. So we have grass-fed ground beef.
Isn't this like a bean paste? Don't beans have protein?
Just sauteed in the pan. I put a little organic soy sauce on it. Ran out of the Frankie's steak sauce. We got to make some more. Sourdough bread from Pure Sourdough. Toasted it up in the pan with some coconut oil. The white bean puree is made by slow cooking cannellini beans. And then those cannellini beans are pureed with some white tomato sauce and acid. So I usually like lemon juice. Today I use some white wine vinegar. A little bit of coconut oil adds a lot to the flavor, and some salt. I also poured the meat juice from that pan.
Coconut oil has no flavor to it. None.
And speaking of dark Sanvia,
this is 2026, and you still have idiots like this that are still pushing the same kind of talking points. Never once experienced a professor pushing socialism on me. That's just bullshit. In fact, if anything, anti-communism is something that is pushed by liberal professors all the goddamn time. That's not true. Most anti-capitalists become anti-capitalist by experiencing capitalism. What a shocker. No. There is nothing on this planet that will make you more anti-communist than experiencing communism firsthand. Ask anybody who immigrated from the former Soviet Union, Cuba, China, you name it. Those are the most anti-communist, anti-social benefit type people you'll ever fucking see. They don't want welfare. They don't want unemployment insurance. They don't want food stamps. They don't want socialized healthcare. They literally don't want anything because they're so paranoid about communism. This bootlicking idiot is like every anti-worker commentator I've encountered. They're all the same, blah, 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 whatever. No, you shut up, you socialist moron. It must be nice to believe the lies spouted from your liberal professors. We live in a capitalist society, which means the owners will pay us what they think is fair. Well, no. Your employers will pay you what they can negotiate with you. So it may be stupid and unfair, but that is the way of the world. Okay, this guy's kind of stupid. But, yeah, Dark Synovia is just a massive fucktard, dude. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Kid Boo donate $2. Is that somebody eating worms? Are these AI or? Yeah, I'm not watching that. Thanks for the donation, jackass. Sleepy donate $2.
Breakfast.
Strip loin.
What do you have for lunch?
Strip loin.
What do you have for dinner?
Sometimes strip loin in soup.
And dinner, same?
Yeah.
So you have 3
So what's in the soup?
steaks a day. That's
Yeah. I would change it. I would change it if I could, but as soon as I add anything back in, like there's still some underlying.
Okay, I kind of hate the music. She gets arthritis from eating broccoli. Oh my god, here we go. She's full of shit. She has not been eating nothing but 3 steaks a day for 6 years. You would end up developing scurvy. And she's admitted this too, by the way, that she goes off her diet occasionally, and then she says, every time I do that, my elbow hurts or something, and she also gets vitamin injections. People are just stupid.
Cholesterol is one of the most important defense mechanisms we have in the body. The only bad thing about cholesterol is not having enough.
Defense mechanism of what? Like, when somebody says this, they clearly don't even know what cholesterol is. Cholesterol is in every cell in your body. Every cell in your body can actually produce its own cholesterol. The issue is having too much cholesterol in your serum. That doesn't mean that, like, if you have low serum cholesterol, there's, like, low cholesterol in the cells of your body.
In 1960,
they don't even know what cholesterol is.
the perfect cholesterol level was 222. Today,
no, that's not true.
the perfect cholesterol is 222.
No, it's not.
It has not moved. As you get down to about 120, you can pretty well be assured that 100% of that population has cancer growing someplace.
No. What? Who is this person?
It may be small, it may be large, but it is growing. You're not going to get over cancer unless you get the cholesterol levels above 2.
Elevated cholesterol is associated with certain cancers, particularly breast cancer.
180 is kind of the borderline area, the break even.
Yeah, so certain forms of certain forms of cancer. Again, I know specifically with breast cancer, they actually use cholesterol to basically create like these protective rafts against your immune system so that the cancer can more easily proliferate.
Even if you would, but if we have a patient who stays around 120, 130, 140, I know they are not going to recover very rapidly.
Okay, that was nice and retarded.
I used to have 24 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
24?
In those days, we had the wrong information that fat was bad.
Yeah.
So we'd throw away most of the yolks. Like I'd have 12 egg whites with 2 or 3 yellows.
So, notice the survival bias here. Oh, I was doing everything wrong back then. Anytime I'd have eggs, I'd only eat the egg whites. This guy is still alive. And from what we can tell, alive and well. He hasn't said he has heart disease or anything. So this guy, for the longest time, who's been avoiding high amounts of dietary cholesterol and eating a low-fat diet, is alive and well, and he's telling everybody, I did it wrong. I should have eaten all the shit that would have given me heart disease. Like, it's just fucking retarded.
Twice a day. So 24 egg whites, maybe 6 yolks.
Yeah.
But now I would say, no, don't do that. Have the fat, it's good. Have the cholesterol, it's good. You need it. So, yeah.
No, you don't.
All eggs. There's several ways to measure.
By the way, this is the same guy who believes the Holocaust never happened, so he is not that great at doing research, clearly.
Protein efficiency, like PER, protein efficiency ratio, AAU, amino acid utilization. Doesn't matter. Eggs are number one.
How many?
Okay, yeah, Dorian Yates is still retarded.
What do you eat for breakfast?
Today I had steak and I had yogurt, grass-fed, cream on top yogurt. I have a very restricted diet that I've been on for about 250 days, but it's a carnivore diet with ferments, sauerkraut, kimchi, any kind of fermented vegetable.
So he hasn't even been doing this very long.
Carbs? No, no carbs. My heart was covered with visceral fat. My liver was covered with visceral fat. So I did the diet for 30 days and my visceral fat had gone down by 40%.
Wow. What do you eat for?
Yeah, that's probably just because he lost weight. Like, these people are insane. What's funny is the macronutrient that's most associated with visceral fat is saturated fat. You can look at dietary interventions that use different types of fat restriction or macronutrient restriction on visceral fat loss. Diets with high amounts of saturated fat, you see less visceral fat loss over time. There's randomized trials on this. Well, that's nice and retarded. By the way, he also goes to a pretty like modern anti-aging clinic. Like he's talked about being on testosterone. It wouldn't surprise me if he's also on like growth hormone or one of these growth hormone secretagogues, which is kind of an important detail because guess what growth hormone and growth hormone secretagogues do? They lower visceral fat. So if this guy went to his doctor at the, anti-aging clinic or whatever he's going to, and they did one of these fancy MRI scans and they said, oh, look, you have all this visceral fat. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to want to pay you for fucking services. And they probably sold him either growth hormone or one of these growth hormone secretagogues that have actually been designed to lower visceral fat. And then he's like attributing all of this to some like shitty fucking diet he's on. Well, anyway, thanks for the nation, Sleepy. My name is Bitcher, donate $2. Curious, what is your intake or general thoughts on choline? Just doesn't matter. It's not something you should worry about. Do you try to hit the RDA? No. It seems like while it is technically essential, it's not clear that not hitting the RDA doesn't have any adverse outcomes. Multivitamins don't contain much of it. I haven't seen any research whatsoever showing that vegans are at like some increased risk of anything from not getting in enough choline. There are choline supplements and there are multivitamins that like have it on the label that it's high in choline or it's like particularly good for your brain and they're high in choline or something. It's one of those things where I don't think you're going to harm yourself by taking a choline supplement, but I'd say it's just totally unnecessary. Thanks for the donation though. My name is Bitchard.
I apologize for ever thinking we were the most intelligent species.
Well, we can make iPhones, but we can't make good sense. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo donated $2. Let me see. Cats. Cats. A lot of cat stuff. I like the cats. I like those cats. Cats are good.
Chef, for taco number 1, I'm recreating a flavor from my visit to Mexico. Of course, it's got to start with freshly made tortillas that are cooked on the comal. But what surprised me in Mexico was that despite all the common meat toppings for tacos, there's an entire category of stew toppings known as guisado. And just like this mushroom stew, many of them happen to be vegan. To elevate them, I paired them with this vibrant salsa made from green tomatoes. Now top your tortillas, add the salsa and some crunchy onions.
For taco number 2, I'm making a whole lion's mane mushroom taco that is being glazed with a celeriac reduction and a salsa of 3-corner garlic with fresh
That lion's mane mushroom looks so good.
flowers. Served with a salsa of scotch bonnet in the side to add extra heat. Here at Cole, we nixtamalize our own corn and we grind it every day fresh. We place the tortilla on the bottom, then followed by our
Dude, that looks so fucking good.
grilled lion's mane mushroom, a salsa, and fresh flowers.
Yeah, give me that fucking taco. Haitian woman in Florida is going viral after CPS arrived for an inspection and she tried excusing her kids' filthy, unsafe living conditions by claiming, "This is how Haitians live and we don't shower like you shower."
Abide by affordance. Can I do that? Thank you very much. So this is my home, in which they excuse me, I'm in the camera now, so I don't know if you want to appear. The CPS lady said she doesn't want to be in the camera. Okay, they said they wanted to see my kids. I can't open the door and let the
Okay, she's not like Haitian.
kids run around so that you can yell at me for letting the kids run around. You understand that? Okay.
You can hear by her voice, she's not like... She had to have been living in the States for a very long time, like since she was a kid or something.
Okay, so go ahead, Miss CPS, come on in. You're free to come in. Excuse me, honey. They're children. Please don't get angry. All right, my food. What is wrong with my food? Why is the camera on my food?
Gotta make sure that you have food for the child.
Okay, the food is in front of you, and I will open my fridge. I do not know you. Give me a second. You have to slow down. My fridge, my sink, the bathroom is in the back.
Okay,
Take a second. Excuse me, honey. There's people. Back up. Back up. This is mess because it's an efficiency, so therefore the kids need activity to be, activity.
This is not very safe. And
That's safe. This is mushroom. This is mushroom. This is cereal. You know why I have the box of cereal out here? And in the backyard there's a playground. And there's sun in the backyard, and I am a broke mom, single mom, in which I can already, right there.
Yeah, you can't excuse this for, like, being broke. Like, this is just insane.
The floor.
The bed is dirty.
The bed is fine.
So the bed is dirty.
Please come check the bed. Please come check the bed.
Okay.
Please come check the bed. Please bring your tools, because you just called me dirty, and you just called me a whole
Yeah, those kids are getting taken away.
horrible mother.
Thank
Please
fuck.
get inside my home. Please get inside my home. You just called me dirty and a whole. You shower, pool days and outside days, and toys in the water, and then there's a trampoline in the back, and what we do army training. No, we don't use the shower. The
Look at this fucking bed.
shower is just for presentation, because I'm Haitian and I shower outside with a box of food in which they lie. That's where they play because they're children, and I can also sleep outside as well. Go outside, call you in the back all day. Nor do I have.
Okay, thank fuck CPS exists. Like, they don't always do much, but, like, holy fuck, that's just insane. Secretary Kennedy. Today we took long overdue action to restore science, accountability, rule of law. Biden FDA pushed a number of peptides into Category 2, bulk drug substances that raise significant safety risks, driving dangerous black market that puts Americans at risk. Now, after nominators withdrew 12 peptides, the FDA will remove them from Category 2, bring them back to PCAC at its next 2 meetings, beginning in July, independent experts, blah, blah, blah. That's actually a good thing. So, look, Joe Biden was a fucking retard. A lot of people don't know this. The main reason testosterone ended up becoming a Schedule III drug in the United States was because Joe Biden made this big argument about how it would affect American baseball. So, they literally didn't even consider whether or not the drug is safe, whether or not it should be widely prescribed, whether or not it's beneficial. He literally made some big fucking speech about how oh, well, we're going to have so much cheating in baseball, and what will kids think if they know that their biggest baseball heroes are all on steroids? That's why it became a Schedule 3 drug, and that also ended up affecting HRT for women, where just hormones in general ended up becoming demonized, and then for the last few decades, women couldn't get HRT when they went through fucking menopause. And a lot of women have fucking died and suffered horribly because of it, and dudes too. Low testosterone is a big fucking issue, and a lot of dudes couldn't get access to testosterone because of fucking Democrats like Joe Biden. And there's just no fucking reason some of these peptides should basically be banned and like in this weird category. So yeah, BPC 157, totally safe. Thimerosine beta 4 fragment, I don't know what the fuck that is. Epitelon, GHKCU, that's totally fine. MOTS-C, that's totally fine. DISP, or DSIP. I don't know what some of these are. Melanotan 2 is totally safe. KPV, Semex. What one's Semex? Was that the one that was made by Russia? Adrenochrome, yeah. I think this was actually made by Russia. Reported to increase memory, attention, mental clarity, neuroprotective benefits. May improve mood, resilience to stress. Generally well tolerated. Rare side effects may include headaches. I heard about that. I don't know too much about it. I don't know what that one is. But that's a good thing. And it's good that Kennedy is recognizing, like, look, a lot of people use these, and if they're safe and beneficial, there's a good reason for people to use them. So banning them is just going to create a big black market where they're more dangerous when they ought not to be. So that's actually a good thing that's coming out of, you know, Robert F. Kennedy's brainworm fucking brain. So not a bad thing at all. No, peptides can't be considered steroids because they're peptides, not steroids. Just spent over an hour with my clinical team debating which growth hormone peptide protocol to run. Still torn. Wanted to share thinking to get your take. Goal, increase GH and IGF-1 to support anabolism recovery, sleep, but also test a specific stacking hypothesis. Tirzepatide can elevate resting heart rate, disrupt sleep, suppress appetite aggressively. CJC, GH, growth hormone analog can worsen insulin resistance. The bet is that combining them cancels each other's downsides. CJC, slow wave sleep enhancement offsets tirzepatide sleep deficit. I don't know why you wouldn't just take growth hormone. There's two basic problems with these growth hormone releasing peptides. One is it relies on your own body's release of growth hormone. So you can only get your body to release so much growth hormone. So especially when you're older, when you start producing less growth hormone, these peptides seem to have less benefit. And secondly, they increase your appetite like fucking crazy. The way they increase growth hormone is through the same pathway that increases hunger. So, like, I know he's trying to offset that with the tirzepatide, but it's like, why would you do that? So it would make more sense to me to just take something like tirzepatide or retatrutide and then just take growth hormone. Ipamorelin adds a second axis of GH release, pulse frequency via the ghrelin pathway on top of the amplitude boost from CJC, no cortisol or prolactin elevation. That's what most clinicians prescribe. Less clinical trial data, daily injections, more anecdotal evidence. Why doesn't he just run growth hormone? I don't know. I don't know. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Agreed, cats are good. It's a shame some Asian countries like to eat them.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. Imagine that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Gee, I wonder what kind of excuse SJWS will make for that Haitian woman not showering and leaving her house with children in such a mess.
You got me, dude. I'm sure they'll come up with all sorts of excuses about how she's a minority and it's generational trauma or some stupid shit. Who the fuck knows?
You need to be reparented, VG. Also, the other link is a trailer to RFK's epic new podcast I know you will be watching.
That could be interesting. I'm sure it'd be stupid. RFK Jr. for suggesting black kids should be reparented.
Before podcast interview, you suggested that black children on ADHD medication should be reparented. You said every black kid is now just standardly put on Adderall, SSRI, benzos, which are known to induce
If I had to guess, you'd probably see a disproportionate amount of white kids that are on like ADHD medication, SSRIs, benzos, any kind of like drug that affects attention span and mood stability, because one, these medications have a cost. So white families are probably more likely to be able to afford them to begin with, or have insurance that would pay for it. And white parents also like bring their kids to the doctor about this stuff. Black parents, like assuming that there's a mother and father at home, they give their kid a whooping. I can guarantee you will see a disproportionate amount of black parents that beat their kids versus white kids. So, like, if a black kid is acting up at school or something, yeah, the kid's going to come home and get a whooping. They're not going to go to the fucking doctor and be like, I read online that that there's this attention deficit disorder, and I think my son might have it because he's having trouble paying attention in school and gets in all these fights. That's a white person thing. Black kids, what you fucking doing, boy? And then they get a whooping. And secondly, the drug that's probably most associated with violence with youth is probably marijuana and or alcohol. There, like, a lot of people don't talk about this, but psychedelic drugs do seem to impact young kids differently than adults, and you do actually see an overlap between violent crime and marijuana use. And it's probably not just some, environmental correlation that isn't related. The marijuana itself probably has something to do with the violent behavior in younger individuals. And yeah, I mean, you'll find a lot of black kids smoking weed. You'll find a lot of white kids smoking weed too, but you'll also find a lot of black kids smoking weed. It's just that the black kids also aren't medicated. And probably you see a disproportionate amount of violence at home.
Violence, and that those children are going to have to go somewhere to get reparented. So to be clear,
it doesn't make any sense. I don't even know what it means.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking.
And by the way,
so to be clear, you're not a doctor, you have no medical degree, and you have no formal medical training. You have never parented a black child.
24 of the 26 HHS secretaries have not had medical
degrees.
degrees.
This is my time.
That is a wild statement. Every black kid is now on Adderall and it induces violence and they need to be reparented. That's his own quote. And then his response to that is, I don't even know what that means. Like, yeah, this guy definitely has a fucking brainworm. Oh my God.
Americans have been told that we should trust the system, but our children are sicker, chronic diseases exploding, and the answers that we've been given aren't working. Many of us have come to the conclusion that government actually lies to us. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you're HHS.
If parents would follow the fucking USDA dietary guidelines, there wouldn't be a fucking problem. The whole reason there's this explosion in childhood obesity is because people are feeding their kids garbage. Like, yeah, if you feed your kids fucking McDonald's chicken nuggets, they're gonna get fat and sick.
Secretary, this podcast is about telling the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable. I'm going to have fearless conversations with critical thinkers, including independent doctors, respected scientists, and leaders in medical innovation and research. I'm going to ask the questions and lift the taboos and expose the hypocrisy and the conflicts and the corruption.
How are these people able to run podcasts while they're government employees? I think this really shows that these people don't do anything and they're overpaid. Well, that'll be pretty minty. That'll be a lot of fucking, lolcow shit to react to. Thanks for the donation. My name is Bitchard.
Also, being Haitian is no excuse. There are people in dirt-poor countries like Africa that take showers.
That is true. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
To be fair, a lot of white Christian parents also spank their children because it's in the Bible. Proverbs 13:24, whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them.
It's more of a Catholic thing, but yeah, they do that too. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Into this, which also adds a lot more flavor. And then we have our Cosmic Crisp Apple. Probably gonna have a little bit of mastic gum and vitamin C. And vitamin C reduces the scorbutic value of the meal, or counters the scorbutic value of the meal. So it's anti-scorbutic. And when you have carbs and sugars, you're always depleting your body's vitamin C stores. And things like H. pylori, gout are caused directly by this. So if you're ever close to gout, I actually had a gout attack 2 or 3 months ago, I think. I was just low on vitamin C. I was eating a lot of sugar, and I started getting gout in my foot. So I knew that even though I was taking vitamin C a few times a week, it almost has to be taken on a daily basis at least once, especially if I'm having, some cookies, which I probably won't have this meal. But sometimes I do have the cookies with the meal. So what you're trying to do...
He recommends eating cookies for somebody who's in bad health.
...is give your body an extreme...
Oh yeah, dude, I saw the Tekken 8 patch notes. Oh my fucking god. Who would have fucking figured? It wasn't just the heat system that they nerfed, it was mostly heat. Like, yeah, heat was massively overtuned, especially for some of those characters, but who'd have fucking figured? Season 2, retarded. Season 3, absolutely fucktarded, insane nonsense. And then they fucking say they're just gonna come out with some, like, simple little patch that's gonna, like, you know, do nothing. And then it's like the patch we wanted. So I reinstalled the game. I'm probably gonna start playing it again. They definitely still have to nerf some characters. Lydia is still a little overtuned. King, he needs to be... That was a big meme, too. How long were people fucking, like, complaining about King? And then the first nerf he gets is, like, nothing? It's just hilarious. So, yeah, King is still the king. But yeah, it's good overall. Like, it at least makes the game, like, fucking playable, you know? Dodo donated $3. Let me see.
All of that has been making Israelis more anxious about their government's ability to stop the threats that are coming from Hezbollah. And everything that Netanyahu has promised his people, he has not been able to achieve. Also, the threat of Hezbollah, he could not diminish that. And it seems that Israel wants to dwell on the talks that were had in D.C. to try and put that responsibility on the shoulders of the Lebanese government and the Lebanese army to...
Is this Al Jazeera? Yeah. They, like, this is bizarre. They put, like, is this deliberate? Notice what they're doing here. So they have the TYT logo up top, then they have this big TYT banner covering the banner in the video that they're fucking talking about. Then you see in, like, this very hard to read and see font, Al Jazeera English, and you can see this little banner below. It covers up the Al Jazeera thing. It's like they don't want you to know it's Al Jazeera, but they also don't want anybody to, like, be able to call it, you didn't fucking mention it's Al Jazeera. Like, this has to be deliberate.
have them disarm Hezbollah.
Well, as much as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would like to think that he and his army of child killers could, defeat Hezbollah, hasn't happened yet, and it's unlikely to happen. Now, perhaps that could explain the reason why Netanyahu has agreed to a 10-day ceasefire with Lebanon. Trump announced that Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day pause in fighting starting on Thursday, meaning today, at 5 p.m. Eastern time, following excellent conversations he had with each nation's leader. The Israeli and Lebanese governments agreed to the ceasefire following more than a month of war between Israel, and this is the important part, guys, pay close attention, and the Iran-backed Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon. So was Hezbollah part of the ceasefire negotiation? I'm gonna tell you in a minute, but
no, they weren't. You know why? Because they're a fucking terrorist group. You fucking idiot. Like, oh my God. And like, Hezbollah is a huge threat to the Lebanese government. In all likelihood, they've assassinated Lebanese politicians. So as soon as you let Hezbollah in on some of these ceasefire talks, they'll know exactly what fucking politicians to target. So it puts Lebanese politicians at risk. Why the fuck would you expect Israel or even like Lebanon, the Lebanese government, to have any interest in including Hezbollah in some of the ceasefire negotiations? It's fucking crazy. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Kid Beard, I need $2. Let me see. Well, I'm not watching the rest of that. Thanks for the donation, Kid Boo.
Amount of soluble fiber and grains to detox with. But that comes at a cost. You know, you're eating an unnaturally high amount of carbohydrates. You're eating an unnaturally high amount of sugar every single meal. So you have to supplement vitamin C, B vitamins sometimes, and minerals in some cases as well, depending on the imbalances. So this is pretty much the most basic meal, the one that I prefer the most in regards to feeling good consistently. With the recent addition of sweet potatoes, I've shown away from the rice. So I will probably try to show you guys a sweet potato meal and a rice meal. And I actually recorded a few meals, but I must have just deleted them. So this video was supposed to be published a while ago, but I'm re-recording the trash bin order if I have to, and then slow cook them in that Instant Pot for 9 hours. These organic sweet potatoes have been the most considerable change in my diet for a while, replacing the rice because of the high arsenic content. Now, we have these on frankiesarrangemeat.com in the produce package. If you order the starch, you will get half Hana white sweet potatoes and then half of the Japanese purple Okinawan sweet potatoes, just those two potatoes. So you'll be able to follow this diet like me if you want to. I cut the ends off, I peel them, and then I cut this into quarters lengthwise. So what you have is like a huge...
He's literally explaining how he cuts potatoes. My name is Bitcher Dooney Tellers. Vegans have entered the SNL writers' room.
Scientists say that they've developed a way of making foie gras that does not involve force-feeding ducks. Wow, that's great, said ducks. What about the murder?
A 66-year-old woman in Germany has given birth to her 10th child. This according to her vagina's suicide note.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. SNL sucks, though. Thanks for the donation. My name is Bitchard.
French fry that you can put in your food processor with a greater attachment. Once you've processed that sweet potato into shreds, I put a few tablespoons of coconut oil in the bottom of the pan. I put this on low heat, and then I cover it. I also put a little salt in it. So it's just coconut oil and salt, shredded sweet potato in a pan on low heat. I come back every 5 or 10 minutes to mix it up, and eventually what you'll have is caramelized, almost mashed sweet potatoes, and this gets the best flavor. I've tried like the pressure cooker, which is great in the morning. You just put it, pressure cook, and sweet potato. They might be pretty good because, you know, a few tablespoons of bone broth to replace that water, which not only helps to cook, it adds a lot of organic horseradish condiment we have as often because they changed the udon noodles. So
this guy eats like a fucking retard. It's funny how all these carnivore diet influencers, they're like, vegans can't even enjoy a steak or some bacon, and then you've got like fucking Frank Tufano eats like the most gross, nasty shit.
Really? What's wrong with SNL?
Well, it's not funny. That's the main issue with it. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Baku organic udon. It used to be so good and so delicious. The last batch I had was okay, but they definitely changed the recipe, and I just don't enjoy the noodles as much anymore, which is why I haven't been eating them as much, and it's also why I got a pasta machine on Frankie's Strange Meat. I'm going to try to make my own pasta. So, yeah, it's udon. It's supposed to be like, not actually pasta, but I kind of eat it like pasta. So we have the udon in glass bottled water with a little salt and coconut oil. It needs to cook for 3 minutes and about 20 seconds. That's some ground beef that is burning in a pan because I'm filming. Those are just some sweet potatoes for the meal later. I accidentally started chopping them and grating them, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to have pasta instead first. To that, we're going to add Frankie's steak sauce and deglaze with a little bit of organic soy sauce as well. And in the bowl we're going to eat our pasta, we already have our white tomato sauce, and that's some gelatinized bone broth. So gelatinized bone broth, very nutritious. White tomato sauce for flavor, potassium, minimally inflammatory tomato sauce, ground beef for some more protein, steak sauce for some more flavor, aminos for more umami. It's going to be like a super flavor bomb. Should be delicious if I execute everything properly. But there's definitely a lot that goes into this if you don't know every detail, if I just show you the finished product. So that really, really in-depth flavors.
I love how this guy like talks about inflammation and all this shit being bad. And then he cooks red meat on high heat, creating heterocyclic aromatic hydrocarbons and shit, or amines. Yeah, aromatic heterocyclic amines, like some of the most cancer-causing compounds imaginable. It's fucking
a lot of time went into making every single product that goes into this, which results in a very flavorful finished product. So
and then you won't eat any
a little
vegetables
pasta water
either.
in there with everything, and we'll mix it up. Might have put a little too much tomato sauce, but every time, actually, for the most part, I put way too little. Now, I hope I didn't cook these.
Like, what the fuck is this? This is just fucking weird and gross. So it's like weird red meat grease soup with noodles in it?
These noodles way too much. I might have been better off going a little more al dente, because this I like letting sit for at least 5 minutes. And yesterday when I got stuck on the phone for like 15 or 20 minutes, I came back and it was still super hot, but it was overcooked. The noodles got a little softer than I liked. And that's the main problem with the Hakubaku udon noodles. What they changed in them makes the al dente texture less desirable. It's mainly a textural thing. It's not really a flavor thing. So I'm hoping that things go a little better on Frankie's Strange Meat and I can get this pasta production up and running, because that could be that's like a whole business in itself that I'm doing as just a side thing of one of my businesses. So we'll let this sit for 5 minutes, and then I'll show you guys and taste some for you. Yeah, this old Viking oven that I got used, there's always something wrong with it. The burners have issues, replace computer parts. I just don't have enough help with people that are reliable to help me fix stuff. It's like everything's like pulling teeth. I had an appliance repair guy come here twice. He said, oh, it needs a computer board. Didn't say which one, and the boards were super expensive online. I might as well get a new oven, like a new, cheaper oven. The only reason I bought this used Viking stove, which is probably 20 or 25 years old.
I can hear the lighter clicking. Why? Does this idiot have the gas running on one of the burners with the lighter clicking? And he won't shut it off? He might actually try to burn his house down this way. Oh, you know what? He might be trying to set this up. Oh, my old gas stove doesn't work. Yeah, I looked into it, and it's really expensive to fix, and it's not working properly. This might be part of the setup for burning his house down.
Is because I got that hood in like mint condition.
You can hear the clicking. He's got the burner turned all the way up with the starter on, but it's not lighting.
For a really good price. So I wanted to match the Viking hood with the Viking oven. And the reason I had to do this is because this house came with a microwave and an electric stove that had no ventilation. So I had to put in ventilation. So, but then I had another guy come in and look at it. The oven's not working either. So we started thinking it's a thermostat maybe, or it is the computer, because so many different things are malfunctioning. Because I did replace the computer that's easier to access up here. There's one computer chipboard. I mean, I don't know. I'm just rambling on nonsense anyway. Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't really been doing any day of eating videos lately, and as you're watching this video, I haven't shown my face on the camera. I've never really wanted to do YouTube anymore since I had the eye surgeries and stuff. So I'm trying my best to diet. A bunch of stuff like that into that from your carbohydrate intake, and then molybdenum, magnesium, and zinc are copper antagonists, which is high in these types of diets. Copper is usually high in zinc as well. So I've just been lazy. So
this just looks fucking disgusting. Oh my god.
I have all four. I'll be stuffed for like most of the day. Okay, so in addition,
why does he have rubber gloves on to cut up muffins?
in addition to the chocolate chip muffins, I'm probably gonna have like one apple after I eat the muffins, and then vitamin-wise in the morning, I like doing.
Why does he have rubber gloves on?
The vitamin D and K2. Sometimes I'll throw in a B complex, and then I always have my glandular supplements, which is gonna be, this is a jar of all the ones I take mixed together.
Gum gum. Where's my baby? Oh, yeah, where's my little baby? Aren't you a good baby? Yeah, you're so good. Yeah, you're so good. You know I love my little baby. It's a good baby. My goodness. Oh my goodness. This is a good cat. Yeah, you're so cuddly. It's my big cuddle monster. You know I love cuddling with my kitty. My goodness.
Third eye, the prostate, male virility, immune strength, pretty much all of them combined together. I'll have a few scoops of that after I have my apple and a full breakfast meal. And this is how I like preparing all the baked goods on Frankie's Free Range Meat. You just put them in a pan with a little bit of oil, patience, low, medium heat, and you get a beautiful brown crust on the bottom. These muffins, because they're really dense and they do have a lot of fat in them, they can get really dark really quick and you can burn them really easily, so don't really go above low heat or just keep a really good eye on them. Yeah, literally everything, whether it's the savory stuff, like the bread and the bagels, or the sweet stuff like this, the Pop-Tarts, the cookies, every single thing. This is how I like doing it. You put it in the pan on low heat, you can cover it and even put a little bit of water to steam it, and then when you come back in, 10 or 15 minutes is just as good as it was.
Chocolate chip muffins are health food, apparently.
Ran out of sweet potatoes because of all the free promotions this week we were giving away. That lovely background noise is a big dehumidifier because my house is getting destroyed by rain. So until we get the sweet potatoes back in stock next week, we might be having some more rice and just the regular russet potatoes, which I still have jarred, which is nice and convenient because I don't have to cook them. Just some porterhouse steak with some soy sauce, organic apple, and then maybe we'll have some organic cookies as well. The only thing that I'm pretty much consistently having with every meal, supplement-wise,
Who the fuck eats rice and potatoes?
is vitamins in the morning, minerals
Weird
at night.
Combination.
I'll skip everything if I don't feel like it, and I'll just have some mastic gum and some activated chocolate. Spend a little more time on the prep on this one.
And
we just sliced the
more
steak.
gross,
little soy sauce in there.
disgusting
Comes out of the rice
food.
cooker. Forgot, we ran out of cookies actually. Put some walnut butter that has a little sugar and salt in it with some Honeycrisp apples, so we'll try that out just for a little.
You guys see this? You guys see my little kitty? He's cleaning himself. You guys see that? It's my little kitty. My goodness. Wow. Just a happy little kitty doing cat stuff. Being so sentient. See how sentient he is? Oh my god. What a nice little boy. He's really good.
Hey VG, did you hear there's already another Mummy movie in the theaters from that god-awful Blumhouse production, and this time the mummy is a little girl? No joke?
Can I get 2 slices of pizza?
No. Of course, honey.
No, you never ever finish 2.
Hello? Mr. and Mrs. Cannon. I'm Deputy Chief for the U.S. Embassy. Your daughter Katie has been found. She's alive.
Yourself for what you're about to see. No loud noises.
Hey, Butterfly. It's Mom and Dad.
She's been missing for 8 years.
Yes. How many others were found?
5. Loto, Señor de los Milagros.
6. Don't worry, Grandma. It's fun to be dead.
Oh boy, that is bad.
My daughter back.
That is so bad. What are they thinking? Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
A little extra fat and caloric density at the end of the meal, because this is really, with the absence of, I guess, cookies and pastries, it's kind of hard for me to get enough calories in. So usually I get hungry after the meal if I don't have enough fat. Because the main goal of this liver detox diet is reducing your fat intake, but then you end up.
Yes, reducing your fat intake. That's why you're eating a steak there, right?
Craving fat, so I did put coconut oil in the rice, and this should be plenty of fat. So in a meal like this, we probably don't need that much walnut butter, and we definitely don't absolutely need like some higher fat cookies, but very delicious. And I don't have the white bean hummus ready. So yesterday I just had...
This is just fucking disgusting.
Like plain bread with steak, with the pan between plates. Cookies. Whenever we make fresh sourdough stuff, I'll also... A year or two now?
Yes, I'm trying to reduce my fat intake because I have liver problems. Eats fucking chocolate chip cookies.
I don't even know how long we've been making these chocolate chip cookies, egg and dairy free. And, you know, every single time, chip cookies. Whenever we make fresh sourdough stuff, I'll also have that for dinner. Like yesterday and today, I had pizza because we made fresh pizza and like a few of them didn't turn out perfect. So I usually take those home. So I had...
Yes. Pizza with cheese on it. Nice and low fat.
Like pizza for lunch yesterday when I went down. For as long as we've had pastrami on Frankie's...
Oh, yes. Low-fat diet with pastrami. Uh-huh.
Meat. I've never actually had a pastrami sandwich, at least that I remember like this. So we took our rye bread and put some pastrami on it in a while, and this is amazing. Whole sandwich. I ate almost all this jar in one meal, but we so I really do prefer that. Was this white bean puree with pasta sauce. The most flavor, the steak sauce.
What the fuck is this?
Put the ingredients on here, or did I try to keep it perfect? So you get a really delicious... You know,
oh my god,
and
this guy's just a fucking weirdo. Dude, he just, like, this is what a retard eats. So, yeah, he just mixes a bunch of stuff. I like this, and I like that, and I like that, so if I mix all of them together, they're gonna taste really good. It's like mixing potato chips with ice cream. I like potato chips, and I like ice cream. If I combine them together, it's gonna be really good. So he's just a dumbass.
Working for the police department may not be as bad as it sounds. Everybody was hired. The one that hired me was Arlington, Texas. I did the written. I passed it with like straight flying A's.
Javonte Jackson Biggins donated $2.
You guys got a chip reader?
I don't know what that all is.
It's my debit card. Please?
No.
It's free?
For today.
Oh yeah, just the Diet Coke. How much? Oh no, I'll definitely, I'm gonna pay for it.
No, thank you.
You just giving out free barbells? I can have this for free.
You can have it.
Huh?
You can have it, then no problem. I pay.
Oh no, it's okay. I just gotta connect this to my wallet. Hold on. No, because I just loaded my credits in the rain, but I have well enough more money to pay for it than I really need, sir. I can just really pay for it.
No problem, I pay all.
How do you come across something like that and think the guy's like some computer hacker? Like, it's clearly just fucking with you. That's good.
I have a spoon in here, and I eat these like a cereal, except there's no milk in there. Protein puffs, every serving, 4 grams of fat, okay, 2 grams of carbs, whoa, not bad, 21 grams of protein. I need 3 servings to get me roughly 65 grams of protein. I take these protein puffs, and you'll never guess how I eat them. I have a spoon in here.
Yep, Mike's still eating like a retard.
I have a spoon in here.
All right.
Is everything okay, officer?
I'm still trying to determine that. As long as you pay for the items that you're taking, it's okay.
All right.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you so much.
I don't shake hands, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Is everything okay, officer?
I'm still trying to determine that. As long as you pay for the items that you're taking, it's okay.
All right.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you so much.
I don't shake hands, sir. Good luck.
He won't shake the black guy's hand, but he shakes the white dude's hand. That's a little sus. Thanks for the donation, dude.
No problem at all. After that, they had you to do a physical agility test. Easy. All you had to do was climb a wall. You had like a bench press. You had a leg press. They had to do a certain amount of push-ups. They gave you a minute, and I forget how many you had to do. Maybe like 30 or 40, somewhere in there. Well, I did 125.
Really?
In a minute, yeah. And then you had to do this leg press. Of course, I did stack. Bench press. press. Of course, I did the stack. It was a machine. You had to do sit-ups. You had to do like 20 or 30. I think I ended up doing like 60, 70, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, sit-ups ain't nothing for me. Working for the police department.
Yeah, Ronnie Coleman's based. I don't think we're ever going to have another Mr. Olympia like Ronnie Coleman. F1 Johnny Somali.
Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, needs a lot more time than 6 months in prison. And today we're going to talk about the potential appeal, which is the vehicle to get him more time behind bars as he deserves. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, and this is a Legal Mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. We're going to get into it today. I am straight off a plane from Seoul. I attended that hearing, saw Johnny Somali in person up close, saw him took out of the room, handcuffed and carted off. But while I'm happy he is in prison, I'm happy he is not roaming free, I would like more time for him in jail. So we're going to get into how exactly that can happen today. And some case law, some Korean case law we found that completely justifies that prosecutors can use to get the time that he deserves behind bars. So,
Yesterday you said that you take 20 milligrams of melatonin. Isn't that overkill? I read that the best dose is 0.25 milligrams, or is that individual?
That's a very, very small dose. I know in research doses, I think as high as 30 milligrams have been tested. There seems to be a benefit to taking a higher dose, like 10 to 20 milligrams. Melatonin's a very potent antioxidant, so it seems to just be good for you overall. As long as you don't have any weird reactions to it, you probably want to take a higher dose. Most of the melatonin supplements I've seen are dosed at around 5 milligrams or higher. I just picked up a bottle from Walmart. They have 10 milligram tablets, and I just take 2. I had a sublingual one a while ago. That was dosed at 20 milligrams. But I found I need a higher dose to actually experience the benefit from it, where it like helps put you to sleep. Thanks for the donation though, Wolfie.
as some background, for those that may have missed it in my opening statements, we're going to talk about Ramzi Khalid Ismail's sentencing. Johnny Somali was found guilty on all of his charges. He had 8 total criminal charges, 4 counts of business obstruction, 2 counts of the Minor Crimes Act, 2 deepfakes, all guilty. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison with labor, an additional 20 days of detention, and then 5 years of SO status, that's offender status, with his phones permanently confiscated. Now, right now, the prosecution is in that 7-day window for them to appeal. Actually, as of today, because 1 day has passed, there's now only 6 days. So the pressure is on for everybody, for us, the Korean media, the public, everybody to make sure the prosecution and the people in Korea know that we want that appeal, and to give them the basis for that appeal, to try to help push that process and know there's public support for an appeal process. So we did give our opinions when we were there in person in Seoul, and you can actually see this.
Gummy, it's just a bug. Don't try to get the bug. Gummy. Gummy, no bug. Gum gum. Gum gum. No bug. Gum gum, no bug. Gum gum. Gum gum. Gum gum, no bug. Gum gum, no bug. No bug. No bug, gum gum. No bug. No bug. Gum gum. Gum gum, no bug. No bug, gum gum. He's seeing a bug. No. Don't try to get the bug. There's a bug on the fucking ceiling. And he's on top of my fucking computer, obviously. Gummy, no bug. Oh, God. I'm hoping this does not end catastrophically.
From the news media coverage from Korea, which I'm going to show you right now.
What do you think about the result? Honestly, I'm happy with the result. What do you think? I just want to say I hope the prosecutor will appeal this too short sentence.
We felt 2 or 3 years would be a fair amount of time in prison for him. Johnny Somali said he wouldn't spend 1 day in jail, so we're very happy that he did get jail time. He was counting on a suspended sentence, so we are very glad he did not get a suspended sentence. However, we feel the prosecutor asked for 3 years, so giving less than even half of the prosecutor's recommendation is below our expectations.
So you see there in the news coverage that we indeed were very clear about what we said. We wanted more, we asked for more.
I came across this reply on a Twitter post about you. Is it true?
No, I'm not part Indian. Thanks for the donation, though, RV.
We think it was below expectations. Yes, of course. We are all happy he's in prison. We are all now happy he's not running free. That is true. But it's not enough. And what we need for Johnny Somali is for him not to use this thing as a way to boost his clout, reputation, some way where he comes out and is able to take this as a win, but indeed is punished justly for what he committed. That would look like something more than 6 months is pretty much what everybody agrees with, myself included. So let's look at some other news coverage which actually hurts this narrative. So the New York Times, which was not there in person, they did not have any personal representative there that we knew of, that we greet. They were all Korean media, etc. Maybe they're working through some Korean affiliate. But that said, they had this title, Johnny Somali, American online provocateur, is sentenced to prison in South Korea. They had this photo which was taken outside, which was used also in Korean media, kind of circulating that. But then they had this line over here, which I thought was absolute fake news if you actually look at it in its true context. They said Johnny Somali, an American social media streamer known for desecrating a monument to women forced into sexual slavery during World War II, was sentenced to 6 months in prison in South Korea on Wednesday in one of the harshest penalties handed down in the country for pulling stunts online. So I guess if you try to narrow this down into people who commit pranks online and things that are covered publicly in the West, yeah, it might seem like it was the harshest because it was probably the only. Most people don't watch or listen to outside of Korea, Korean criminal cases. They're not paying attention to the process in Korea. So they don't know what other Koreans have been sentenced for under the exact same laws. And where this is a lie and where this is fake news, where this is BS, is to call this in any way harsh. This was one of the lightest.
He deserves a life sentence. He's not somebody who should be let out into society.
Punishments on record, and we went through the Korean court cases after this almost immediately to give proof that
Gummy, it's just a bug, okay? Leave the bug alone.
This is something that is light. So we're going to show you the Carfax and prove everything here and show you this was a relatively light sentence. So jumping right into it.
Like, I'm dead serious. This guy really should be in prison for the rest of his life. He is like the worst type of human being. This guy will do anything at everyone else's expense, so long as it benefits him. Like, if it would help his career in some way, he would torture children. I would guarantee it. He's kind of like Griffith from Berserk in that sense, where if it would benefit him in some way, He would torture kids. He would have like people suffer years and years of torment if it would make him more money and get him more popular and more fame. Like that's all he cares about. So this guy had every opportunity to reform, change his ways. He didn't. He was not in any way remorseful for what he did. He just ended up acting more and more unhinged as he was going through the whole court system. Like, fuck this guy. He should not see the light of day. And I mean, just look at the guy's face. You can tell by the guy's face, he's just a complete fucking asshole.
Hey VG, how's your day? I just wanted to drop in and offer some words of encouragement. Fat doesn't lift the weight. Muscles do. Slow cut is the way. You'd maybe stop fainting doing a rep on OHP. LLLLLLLU. Ooh. Arrah. You. Ooh. Arrah.
I had a pretty alright day. I was supposed to train biceps and forearms. I couldn't really train my biceps. I have some like weird bicep pain in my right arm. So I just did some really, really lightweight stuff. Then I did some good forearm training. Got a really good forearm pump. And I got a karate belt. Or I think it was a taekwondo belt. It's just so I can do some supination exercises. Again, just to strengthen my forearms and like, you know, maybe if I want to transition to doing arm wrestling, that'll help. So I started doing some supination exercises. Did a little bit of calf training too, but it was a pretty good chill day. Spent some time with my girlfriend, Pat. I love Pat. I'm gonna pet Pat. Thanks for the donation, though. Smash you on your head. I've just got to take a piss. I will be right back. Just need to pee. Give me a minute. Leave the chair out here for Oh, that was a good piss. Oh my god. Man. It's really nice to just piss. Imagine not being able to piss. That'd suck. Oh.
Fat doesn't lift the weight. Muscles do. Slow cut is the way. You'd maybe stop fainting doing a rep on OHP.
I have a tendency to just have low blood pressure. My blood pressure before I started dieting, it was consistently 110/70. I checked it yesterday morning. I was at 100/50, and I was fainting. I was fainting a little bit today too, so the diet's making my blood pressure kind of go low enough to the point where I start fainting. Seems like if my systolic goes to like 100 or below, I start fainting a bit here and there. Let me see. Are these just gonna be clips of me? Or, oh, thank God.
Oh, shit!
Stupid kids. Oh. Oh, what a nice kitty. Oh my goodness, do you guys see that? Oh, what a nice kitty friend. Oh. I love cats. Thanks for the donation, dude. Ugh. You guys see this right here? Getting fucking jacked, bro. Absolutely fucking yacked.
Remember, he had 4 counts of obstruction of business. 4 counts. So we went in and searched up different cases involving obstruction of business and seeing how much time these people received. And mind you, some of these cases are just 1 count of obstruction, not 4. So imagine this. He's got 8 total charges. And in Korea, they're all combined into 1 sentence. So Johnny Somali's sentence for everything was just 6 months. But these people over here, you can see these cases. And by the way, Godan is just kind of a Korean modifier that's used for the lower court. It's used to search these cases. And you can kind of use that in Hangul to find these cases if you want to validate this. But you see this 2018 case in the Seoul Central District Court. The defendant received 8 months just for obstruction alone. You got a 2017 case of the Seoul Central.
I don't know if they gave him such a light sentence because he's like a foreigner and they don't want him around or something, or they feel bad for him for being a retard. I have no idea why they wouldn't have given him like the 3 years that was recommended by the prosecutor. It's really weird.
Central District Court. That was 6 months. But wait, that's just for obstruction alone. Then you had a case with multiple defendants. There were 10 defendants in this 2024 case. And in that case, they received anywhere between 6 months and 2 years just for obstruction. But then let's get to deepfakes, because remember, that's the serious one that has mandatory jail time. So if you look at that, it's called Violation of the Act on Special Cases Concerning the Punishment of Sexual Crimes, Deepfake Distribution. You look at these cases, they are all pretty much unanimously more than 6 months. 6 months is a complete aberration in these cases. 2025 case for deepfakes, 1 year. 2024 case, a year and 6 months. 2025 case, 8 months. And these are just for deepfakes. So once again, deepfakes, without even thinking about obstruction, Minor Crimes Act, anything else, just deepfakes, you've got longer sentences. But what we found a perfect test case for this, a perfect comparison case, and we named this John Doe because we don't want to give away any personal information of this person needlessly. But we looked at this and we compared this and lined this up with Ramsey, and we found this was actually a pretty good one to say, hey, how was he sentenced versus Somali? Well, this individual, John Doe, had 2 counts of obstruction of business and 2 counts of the Network Violation Act. Now, that's not the Deepfake Act. The Deepfake is more serious than the Network Act violation, right? So it's even more serious, but there's 2 different types of crimes here. And so he had a total of 2 criminal charges, just 2, right? 2 different types of, 4 counts, 2 types of charges. So he had the obstruction of business and the Network Act violation. So 4 total counts, half of the amount of Somali with 8. How long was he sentenced? 1 year. 1 year, right? So that's a huge difference. The prosecutor, what did they recommend? What did they recommend? Well, they recommended, right, a little bit over a year, about a year and 6 months, right? So they didn't get that, right?
You clearly have good genetics. So why were you fat for so many years?
I was eating a lot. So yeah. And now I'm not eating that much. Just lots of salad. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
He got 66% of what they were asking for. On average, per count, because he had 4 counts, he got 3 months per count, up to a year's, right? So each count is 3 months, 3. You got 12 months. You've got a 12-month sentence. How about Johnny Somali? He had 4 counts of obstruction of business, 2 of the Minor Crime Act, 2 of the SVA, right, the deepfakes, 8 counts. He only received 6 months. That was only 6 months out of 3 years recommended. That's 16%, a tiny fraction. On average, 3/4 of a month for each count. Absolutely nothing, absolutely a joke. So, in summary, looking at this as a combined sentence, this is absolutely a travesty. He was sentenced less than individuals who violated just a single Korean law.
Kari, don't tell us, hey Richard, if we had to deal with the God Hand and Apostles today, would we be fucked? Also love big femboy booty. Now you know. Well, unlike in Berserk, we have the luxury of modern firearms. So Guts has taken down some pretty powerful apostles with just his hand cannon. He blew away the Snake Baron with his hand cannon. I think he also used the cannon against the Count. Blew him away. There's been a few where just that small cannon in his false arm basically completely incapacitated them. So if you can take an apostle out with just a small cannon, yeah, modern weaponry and firearms would make short work of them. Might be a different case with the God Hand. you might need some kind of special weapon. See, like that certainly seems to be the case with Griffith. But yeah, all the other apostles, yeah, we'd be able to deal with them pretty easily with just modern firearms. Thanks for the donation, though, Carrie.
You can,
and I mean, nice big butts are nice big butts, you know.
Cannot justify this and look at this as a from a position of just one law. You have to look at it as 4 counts of business obstruction, 2 of the Minor Crimes Act, and 2 of the Deepfake Act. So looking at all of these things together, we are going to approach the prosecutor and
Smash You on Your Head, donate $2. I love it when dogs sing. Dogs are the best. Oh, Bloodhound.
Boy, say I will.
Oh.
If you are a good boy, say I will.
Oh.
If you are a good boy, then you really are a good boy. If you are a good boy, say I will.
Oh my goodness. He's a good boy for sure. Wow, that's a good howl. Thanks for the donation, Smash You on Your Head. I remember Finn would sometimes howl when he heard sirens like a fire truck. He only did it like 2 or 3 times, but it was the cutest fucking thing. He's just a little Pomchi, and he had the cutest little howl. I wish he did it more. He was such a sweet dog. You know, it's a shame he died, but he had a good life. Finn was just an amazing person.
Approach the public and approach everybody else with the position that this was over mitigated and therefore should be appealed. The judge in Somali's trial overly mitigated the sentencing. And we can say that looking at the 2 mitigating factors cited by the judge in court. We heard the judge explain these 2 factors. The first one was that the victims didn't feel punishment or feel severe shame. Now, this is absolute BS because 2 of the quote unquote victims were once again in this very transactionally, as in Jungmann, who literally only agreed to a settlement with Johnny that he didn't want Johnny to be punished, right? That was what his kind of agreement was, because he also had a charge against him and he was facing serious criminal charges for throwing a brick through a Korean courthouse window. So he was trying to get himself down. He was self-interested. He wasn't genuinely sorry about that. In fact, I had an interview with Jungmann before all of this started where he hated Somali and he really wanted Somali to be punished. That is something that he thought before, but he changed his mind when he was looking at time behind bars. And then looking at, and then of course you had Hank Yu, who was his roommate and his financier for largely all of this process. You also have Bong Bong, who you're saying didn't feel severe shame, but she never said she didn't want him to be punished. She in fact said she did want him to be punished and in fact celebrates his punishment.
Let me show you my girlfriend. Bong Bong IRL, this is my girlfriend. I have a Korean girlfriend. Why are you attacking me?
The other thing was the travel ban. So they found that the travel ban was a mitigating factor, which was completely insane because we looked through Korean law as well as the Korean sentencing guidelines, and it doesn't seem like we can find anywhere else, it's certainly not in the sentencing guidelines, where a travel ban is a disadvantage. And this is absolutely horrible precedent for nuisance streamers. What this says is that for all other nuisance streamers, when they come to Korea, they're going to mitigate your sentence because they're going to lock you in Korea and keep you from traveling. So that's going to say essentially, hey, nuisance streamers, if you prepare ahead, if you know you're going to be locked in Korea, you can come here, do Korean content, get locked up a little bit, and then go about your merry way and have increased clout, increased reputation, etc. Because, well, you know you're eventually going to have your sentence brought down. It's just going to be 6 months and you're going to be able to go on your way. And a lot of times when you have these short breaks, people come back with even more clout, even more reputation, even more eyeballs on them. Now this thing has been out in all the media. We would hate for Johnny Somali, for Ramsey Khalid Ismail, to get even bigger because he wasn't there long enough for him to actually think about his actions, change his ways, and really be stopped in the long term. The other thing is there were some aggravating factors that are listed in the sentencing guidelines of Korea. that the judge did not factor in. And these are ones that explicitly the judge is supposed to factor in. The first is the
I have no idea why a Korean judge. What's also weird about this is Johnny Somali was trash talking the judge like fucking crazy. I have no idea why they'd be motivated to give him such a light punishment. It's really weird. Like, he was absolutely horrid and filthy to the judge. Mouse PI? Oh yeah, I saw this. This does look really good. It's gotten really good reviews on Steam. Yeah, I might get that. Maybe we'll play it tonight. Sleep, you don't need $2. Is this good training advice?
Here's why you should skip leg day for calisthenics. Having extra weight on our legs is like having ankle weights on. It's dead weight. For exercises like front levers and planches, our shoulders have to generate more force to counteract the weight of our legs. Basically, this extra body weight and weight distributed towards your legs is an issue for upper body calisthenics. This is why some people skip it if they're really serious about calisthenics and they're about that life, pants on all the time. You know what I'm saying? For real though, another reason is that leg training is taxing on the nervous system. It takes away recovery that could be allocated towards your upper body. In my opinion, the average person should be doing legs once per week. You're not competing at the highest level in calisthenics, so just doing one leg workout per week is worth the effort to get the benefits.
I mean, if you want to do the most amount of pull-ups possible, you know, and all this other shit, sure, but it's like, I don't know what most people are really doing calisthenics for. If you just want to look good and shit, like, why the fuck wouldn't you train legs? You know? So, like who cares? And I mean, if you end up doing less pull-ups because you weigh more, well, that means you're lifting more weight and you can build more muscle. So I don't know what people do calisthenics for. I can understand if you like if there's like competitive calisthenics where people compete to do the most amount of like pull-ups or I don't know, whatever movements they do, like, I guess that makes sense, but, like, if you just want to look good and shit, why the fuck wouldn't you train legs? It's just stupid. Thanks for the donation, Sleepy. Fat doesn't lift the weight. Donate $2.
Hey, Justice.
He's like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Oh,
That
that
was an
dog
intense
likes
fall.
cuddling. Wow, that's a nice dog. Thanks for the donation. Fat doesn't lift the weight. It's a really
Habitual
sweet
nature
dog.
of the crime. This was a criminal streak, a part of a pattern, a part of a large scheme in order to commit crimes in Korea. And the judge did not factor that in to aggravate it and make the sentence longer. Further is the motive. Now, the judge did talk about the fact that he streamed, but he didn't go into detail about the fact that Somali took sadistic pleasure in the fun and profit in people for money, harassing people for money, shaming innocent bystanders. That is the most disgusting motive possible, and that should have aggravated the sentence, not mitigated it. So, in my judgment, coming to my judgment, the Korean prosecutors are fully justified in asking for years behind bars. Weak mainstream coverage like the New York Times, the BBC, etc., that have not been covering this from the beginning and that are just covering the cursory details of it is going to result in Somali perceiving this as a win with increased clout. Somali's going to say, look at me, I was on the BBC, I was on the New York Times, yeah, W Somali. That's not good. We don't want that. What we want is him looking at this and saying, yeah, it shows that I was punished severely and that I can't do this again and can't repeat this in any country anywhere in the world. We now only have 6 out of 7 days remaining for appeal. And I know there's other charges that can be pressed against him in the Eastern District, and we're going to talk about those in the future. But right now, I am focusing solely on the appeal, so it gets out there in the media, in the U.S., everywhere else, while we have eyeballs on this, to focus on appealing this as the prosecution. The prosecution has the ability in Korea to go and ask for more time, and we think that would be just, and that's why the prosecutor should appeal ASAP and try to get the full 3 years that they asked for. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.
That was a huge shock to me that he wouldn't have gotten at least a year. Because again, that guy was so fucking unhinged, had no remorse, and especially with how he was treating the judge and talking about how he loves North Korea, the judge is a fucking bitch. Like, in any other situation, you'd get the book thrown at you, but he just got off so easy.
I think this is the place.
If you guys can turn down the music a little bit, you know? This ain't residential area, bro. I was just wondering, you know,
This commercial
property.
property. This ain't residential, boy.
It's the first day. I just fucking suitcases over there. I'm living here
Weren't they broken into?
right now, okay?
Y'all check for mold in here?
Hey, buddy, this is a Ponzi scheme, all right?
Is in my head again. Hey! You can just do whatever the I want, man. This is a quick one. We're gonna get this shit.
Pop-up location that's what they call it. Just think of like a food truck, but you know what I mean? Like a food truck, but it's a jam.
The other one's gonna be major with it.
See, we get in here that might increase the pumperoni. I still got those steroids from Mexico.
No, don't get the video fucking taken down, man. I'm feeding for a chest pump.
You want some beetroot?
Beetroot good for like pump for?
Shit, is it good, boy? Shit. Hard to touch the best. You just doing this, right? You just doing this. It's judged off how good I fucking look, baby. Call it whatever it is, but that's it. That's what it is.
Maybe a little bit of arm sleeve.
I need fucking methyltren, bro.
I'm bench pressing, bro. Fuck this shit.
Hey, let's do this motherfucker. This motherfucker good though. This will give you a sick ass pump.
Smash you on your head. Oh. 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 That's nice. That's really nice. I love it when animals are friends. Those are good friends. Yes, such good friends. Very nice, good friends. My goodness, what wonderful friends. So nice. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Nice. Press, bro. I'm finna. My internal fucking drop. Resets. Whatever's going on.
It was, Mikey's the one who tore his, pec, right? Yeah, he was trying to bench 600. Kevin Levrone also tore his pec, benching 600. I think there's a point where, like, you really just should not bench a certain amount of weight, even if you can do it. 600 is a lot of fucking weight, dude. At that point, it's like, yeah, you probably just shouldn't lift that. That is a nutty, ridiculous amount of weight.
There you go. Any as I can do without my wrist.
I think a lot of people can get away with 500, but 600, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people just tear their pecs once they get above 500. Even around 405, you see a lot of pec tears, so probably wasn't a great idea.
Combine.
Oh, so we're gonna be weak there.
Combustion.
We're gonna
No,
be pushing
dude, I
it.
have an injury that I'm working around.
How can you do 20 reps, but you can't get the last 5 because you're gonna blame it on your wrist then?
I don't want to hear shit from you, man. Oh, I need to take a week off the gym. You're a fucking pussy, bro.
Did I though? No.
Yeah, you fucking. How many days you take? 3? I've been taking 3 days off the fucking gym since I was 13 years old.
You don't even know what I was doing, bro.
Fuck
You
you,
bitch.
Man, you wouldn't survive half the shit I've been through, son.
I was right next to you the entire time. I think I could, yeah.
No, you fucking could.
Pretty
bro.
fucking easy, dude.
Off this butter, man.
Stress me the fuck out, dude.
You're
I'm
gonna go
gonna
line
freak out.
Denny
I'm gonna freak out. Oh my
Soft
god.
as shit, boys. That's it. I said don't fucking touch me. And you going to fucking kick me? Motherfucker. You wouldn't have been bounce band if it wasn't for me.
What? What? You did not put me on the crowbar. Oh, I'm done, bro.
Perfectly executed. Yeah!
Smash you on your head, donate $2. Let me see. Oh. What the hell?
Francisco Airport in October of 2024 when I randomly met Alex the Great. In December of the same year, I flew down and met him one-on-one with his dad, Josh.
That is a very big rabbit.
If you haven't seen a rabbit in a stroller, 1010 recommend.
He is 30 pounds.
After exchanging
Wow, that is a big rabbit.
pleasantries,
Imagine how many vegetables that rabbit could eat.
I got to sit down and actually sit with this giant, gorgeous floof who jumped into my lap and cuddled with me for quite some time.
Oh my god.
So
that is
who
a big
was Alex the
rabbit.
Great, you might ask? Alex the Great was a therapy
Wow.
rabbit that roamed the halls with his friends from the WAG Brigade at the San Francisco airport. He and his friends kept travelers calm during their long, stressful days, especially when things like delays or flight cancellations happened.
God,
He
that's
also
such a
became a
cuddly
local celebrity
rabbit.
and had a massive presence at San Francisco's
Oh
MLB
my
team, the
God.
Giants. In July of
Wow.
2025, Alex the Great developed a type of cancer and
Oh
passed away
no.
at a young age. His
Poor
mom and dad are keeping his
rabbit.
memory alive
Look at that beautiful rabbit.
by helping other rescue rabbits, and you can check out their
Oh,
page.
that's a really sweet rabbit. Yeah, they got juicy pecs.
Oh yeah, for the load again. For the load again. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't even know this until recently, but Kevin Levrone tore his pec benching 600, and after the pec tear, he actually looked the same. It didn't affect the way he looked, and he actually got bigger. So it kind of makes me less worried about like really catastrophic injuries like that, like if he could recover from it. And I mean, Mikey too, like he recovered what seems pretty well from the pec tear. He's still getting like bigger. He's not benching what he was before, obviously, but still. Even after the pec tear, Kevin Levrone was still throwing around crazy fucking weight. 2 weeks before one of his shows, he was doing 495 for reps. And that's 2 weeks before a competition. So yeah, technology. I'd obviously want to avoid tearing my pec. Like I wouldn't want that to happen, but I'm not. I don't have the belief that like you're done after you tear a pec or have like an injury like that. Yeah, it's like it still looks pretty symmetrical on either side. And it looks like his chest is bigger, if anything. Smash you on your head, donate $2. What did they expect? Rat. My goodness. Wow. I don't know what you mean by what did they expect, but that's a nice rat. Rats are nice. I love rats. Rats are good. Is this another weird Instagram thing where it's giving me the wrong link? Oh yeah, keeps giving me different links each time I click on it. Those are rabbits. Yeah, rabbits do that. Love how it just picks up the bowl and smashes it. It's giving me a different link each time I click on it. That rat's stealing his money. Oh, he's eating the money. That's his now. Well, thanks for the donation, Smash You on your head. I don't know if he sent me the right link.
Stop, but you didn't try. I hate you, I hate it, I hate me, the lie. And most of all, God for letting it die. Standing here holding so hollow alone. Take me instead, don't let it be gone. Look in the mirror that and how much they care.
In the harbor, but it wasn't made to stay in the harbor. It was made to explore, to venture out. Okay?
But listen,
That's a hard asthmatic mic quote.
if you don't take some time to visit the tavern, who's gonna tell your stories? Who are you gonna tell your stories to?
He's looking a lot less bloated. I don't know if he reduced the drugs he's on or started dieting or what. But he looks better.
Leave the harbor, man, but always make sure to come back. Okay? Remind yourself where you come from. All right? Oh, yeah. Icarus laughed as he fell.
Smash you on your head, donate $2. Let me see.
Fat doesn't lift the weight. Muscles do. Slow cut is the way.
Yeah.
You'd maybe stop fainting doing a rep on OHP. LLLLLL.
You're a fucking idiot. Yeah, let's see how, out of shape I am, huh? You wanna fight me in a fucking cage and see how out of shape I am? I guess I don't have to be in great shape to fight you, would I, dipshit? I just have to smash you on your fucking head!
Yeah, I get it. You sent me that a billion times. Okay, thanks for the donation. Can you bench more than peak Big Lenny? Probably. Way back in the day, he had a much better physique. He had a bit of the bloated stomach and everything. What show was that? There's some old show he had way back in the day where he actually had a pretty decent physique. Wasn't that one?
Got banned from a vegan group for saying that is so gay lols lols.
I mean, that sounds about right. It's a vegan fucking group, right? So they're pretty gay. Thanks for the donation, Fad Fudge. That's Kalora. That's definitely not his best shape. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, for Big Lenny. I'm not sure if that was the show I was thinking of. Yeah, the stomach just became fucking crazy at some point, but I remember one show way long ago. This is it. I mean, for Big Lenny, you know, like his arms look really good. Pecs on certain shots look all right, like pretty big, wide lats. His legs are definitely underdeveloped. His stomach is, kind of out of control already, but considering what happened later, Yeah, if he had managed to not bloat his stomach out like crazy and stay in better health, could have done like okay, Same thing kind of happened to his buddy, Andrew Calora. He was ridiculously strong. He benched 600 raw. Like, easy, too. Dodo Donate Tellers, Destiny's live, VG, is he in Discord? Is he live? No. He is not in Discord. Dodo Donate Tellers, I wonder if the whale thinks it's sentient. Wow. What a nice whale. My goodness. Whales are nice. Yeah, I don't know what the whale thinks. If the UK joined the US as the 51st state, we would be the poorest state in the entire union. Mississippi, which is pretty blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's the funny thing. People make fun of, bumfuck states like Mississippi, but they're doing better than the fucking UK. I don't think people grasp how far we've fallen in terms of when it comes to GDP per capita. We've seen no growth for almost an entire generations. Well, there literally hasn't been. The like bullshit GDP statistics, like, oh, well, we've had 1.5% GDP growth year over year. It's not real. All it is just cost of living has gone up. We've seen our productivity decrease and our taxes increase. The UK has a particularly retarded problem with the way they set up their tax and incentives. People will deliberately try to earn less money because if they earn more, what ends up happening is some of their benefits get taken away and they literally get such a tax penalty for moving up a tax bracket that they also literally earn less money. So if you earn $90,000 a year, you might have to pay like, I'm making up a number here, like 25%. But if you earn an extra 10K and you're up to 100,000, well, now you have to pay like 30 or 35% tax. So when you do the math, you end up having less money than you would otherwise. And some of the benefits you might get, like childcare or whatever, those get taken away. So people are literally incentivized to be less productive in the fucking UK. I have no idea why they fucking set up a tax bracket system like that. It's insane. It's as if they deliberately want to keep people poor and make sure there's like this class of everyday fucked over working stiffs that will never achieve any degree of wealth, so that some of the most wealthy people never end up getting any competition. I have no idea why they set it up that way, but it seems like it has something to do with some kind of corporate corruption, because it's fucking weird. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, the average person in the UK on 50,000 pounds is less well off than your average Mississippi swamp dweller. It's true. The UK is just absolutely fucked.
Salam alaikum, everyone. I'm Rami Youssef.
Oh, it almost Elmo. Mr. Rami, what does salam alaikum mean?
Well, salam means peace, and it's a way to say hello in Arabic.
Oh, cool. Oh, salam alaikum, everybody.
Elmo and I are here to wish all of you a happy Arab American Heritage Month.
Yeah, happy Arab American Heritage Month.
I'm so proud of my Arab heritage, and I'm so happy to share this month with my fellow Arabs and Elmo. So, thanks, Habibi.
Trump might have had a very good point with defunding PBS. A very good point.
Wait a minute, what's Habibi?
Oh, it's an Arabic word for a special friend.
Really? Well,
Yeah, why don't you tell him what jihad means?
happy Arab American Heritage Month, Habibi. We love you.
Yep. I'm with Trump on this one now. Shut down PBS. Holy fuck. That is insane. This is cringy knowing that Epstein did nothing wrong.
A very clear picture of a creepy guy and a really clear question. Why did so many people who had so much to lose?
Yeah, creepy guy. Dude, it's... Find any dude Epstein's age and, like, find me one person who does not find the women he found attractive. Okay, like, I know in terms of dating preferences, it's a different story, but, like, if you're just talking about sexual attraction, you will not find a single straight heterosexual dude Epstein's age that does not find, like, 18-year-olds hot. So, like, give me a fucking break. It's... I don't know why this... There's this weird taboo with, like, this age difference thing. Sure. If somebody's underage and you're preying on a minor, that's a whole different fucking story. Like, you're a piece of shit. But when you're talking about girls that are literally fucking adults, what the fuck are we doing?
Keep hanging out with him. We sat down with a couple of experts and said, you look at this, law enforcement people, tell us what you think.
Smash You on Your Head, donate $2.
Why the fuck are
No, I'm
people...
not watching that channel.
I think women, as I said the last time, have an intuitive sense. What is intuitive? They have intuition, they have feelings, and they're able to deal in the realm of things that men, especially men like myself, find unexplainable.
So, Melissa Marola, as a former profiler, Christine Dunn as a...
Yes, ask fucking dumbass women about this who are obviously going to be fucking biased, knowing like the fucking media attention this guy has. Are you fucking kidding me?
Former federal prosecutor. When you hear that, what do you see?
So I see somebody who clearly knows how to take advantage of the situation, how to
like the women who, like, these girls that went to Epstein Island, they're millionaires now because they lied about being abused by Epstein. They clearly all lied. That's why the guy was never prosecuted on any kind of sex crimes. He basically was charged with the same shit Diddy got charged with, which is just, like, paying for a prostitute across state lines, which, like, who the fuck cares? So, this guy just wanted to have some fun with some girls that he found attractive, and these girls lied, made up a bunch of bullshit, and this is after his estate was up for grabs, after he died, where he couldn't even defend himself. These women became fucking millionaires, and then we're claiming Epstein is the one who knows how to take advantage of a situation. Really? How about the fucking girls who lied about him? They're the ones who made off like bandits. He ended up in a fucking prison cell where he was probably murdered by another inmate because everyone around the jail cell spread a fucking rumor about him being some pedo. Dodo donated $2. Let me see. My world is turned upside down this weekend. As some of you may have seen, I was featured on a recent episode of Vitaly, where I was wrongfully portrayed as someone attempting to engage in a private. Since then, Vitaly has publicly acknowledged through both written and video statements that this was a mistake. Additionally, the officers from the Santa Ana Police Department who were called on the scene conducting their own investigation confirmed that I'm innocent. Sincerely grateful, appreciate mistaken, the impact, false accusation, harassment, judgment, damaging, wholeheartedly support to expose real wrong, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. Tally's a piece of shit. Yeah, great. Whatever. I don't really care about anything he says. Falsely accused. Yeah, I get it. Okay, dude. I wish you would watch the original whole video VG. You kept skipping, so... Who cares? I fucking get it, okay? I don't need to waste my time listening to this fucking dumbass. Yeah, he's a fucking retarded lying asshole, and he fucking, ruined somebody's reputation. Thanks for the donation.
At that gay shit. This is what your friend Alexander Leonidas likes. Thus why him and his butt buddy Phil trained those silverback flutes so they could destroy each other's crap shooter. Hyper gay.
I don't know what the fuck this is. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Size somebody up and determine, is there a way that I can spot vulnerabilities and that I can use those vulnerabilities and exploit them in some capacity?
I don't think he viewed any of his victims as actual people. They were, things to be used by him.
To what degree do
Yeah, that's why all the video footage you can find of the guy is him having fun and the girls that are with him also having fun and laughing and having a good time, right?
you think this lavish lifestyle that he exposed people to was also just part of the whole equation?
We know that most of his victims were vulnerable individuals. And so they see something like this and they
They're not vulnerable, they're adults.
think this is opportunity for me to get ahead, to have a stable income, to have, a place that I can go. And so it's part of the grooming process.
They're adults. They were paid for... There's different accounts. Some girls were explicitly paid for sex. Some girls were paid to give massages and just hang out with them. They're adults. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Like, if this is the case, then literally any form of employment is grooming. Because you're taking advantage of a vulnerable person who will go homeless if they don't find a job, right? Like, fuck these people. These are just some dumb cunt fucking women. Fucking cares.
Because if he knew to fall was to mean that he once flew. Why didn't I, mommy? Come on, baby. Come on, Mike. That's it, baby. Come on. Oh my God, that burn. Yup. Crack it. Crack it like a fucking nut, boy. Shut the fuck up. Nutcracker, come on. It's a nutcracker set. That's what we call these. Hit this last set. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, I really dig the upright rows.
You gonna get the last set on that? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, look at me. Yeah. I can do this all day, buddy.
I'm not making eye contact.
I can do this all day. All fucking day, buddy. Yeah. I'm fucking hard, boy. Check my cock. I'm hard. Yeah.
In front of me, bro? This fucking gay. I think.
Let's go.
Let's go get that black star. Let's go get us.
His traps are popping out pretty crazy.
Let's go get that Blackstone. Let's go get us some fucking Blackstone, baby. Come on. Yep. I need you to go to the Walmart by the B&B and get the Blackstone. She's not even gonna be able to carry it out, bro. That bitch heavy. I just need you to secure it. I need you to buy it and purchase it.
Are you sure there's one?
Yep, there's a good old Blackstoner up there.
Okay, I'll check. Did you?
I just got done working out. All right, thanks.
So how you doing? How you doing? 18 bars since 1 o'clock.
Yeah, man. I've had two fucking meals today. Hey, what do you think you're doing? You
propane bit?
30 fucking bucks, man. Be the difference in your community, man.
Over shit ton of shit. Up for the summer, man, you know?
Whoa, look at that big kitty.
I bought you the big cat treat. You can later, boy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
He got signed personally. Dennis Rodman jersey, you can see the GOAT. He wasn't that good, but it's all about the heart. He wasn't. Made his hands
What does it
fucking
mean?
hard.
Rodman was
By the
that
time
good.
he's got these. Check that snap.
Hell yeah, dude. Bro, this is my fucking dream car. I fucking love Lancers.
On the way.
Yeah, we're slowly getting them all in here.
The GT.
It's not like my literal dream car, but I fucking love Lancers. Dream car is the Ariel Atom, but dude, I'd love a good Lancer.
They haven't seen the Evo yet.
Show them this motherfucker. It won't turn on though.
Turboed.
One owner type shit?
One owner.
One owner.
Fucking 800 wheel horsepower, all-wheel drive, little fucking race car. Just from Tokyo Drift, I fucking want.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'd love to get a Lancer Evo and tune it. Those are the sickest fucking rally cars. I fucking love rally cars.
But it actually makes no fucking sense why they had the main character drive.
Papa, that's the beer mode physique, probably the most fruity thing to be mentioned on this platform. Also, how many reps on the barbell curl can you get with 135? I got only 6, but biceps have been my weakest part forever.
I have rarely ever consistently done barbell curls. I remember a while ago I worked up to doing sets with 135. I can't remember how many I could get, maybe like 8. I just don't like the way they feel versus dumbbell curls. Even easy bar curls, I just don't get as good of a feeling from just dumbbell curls. And I find that I'm more like injury prone when I do some form of barbell curl or easy bar curl. So I've always just preferred dumbbell curls. Thanks for the donation though, XD.
Driving a fucking all-wheel drive car in a drift.
This is all-wheel drive? Yeah. It's not.
All-wheel drive works fine for drifting. Front wheel doesn't work, but yeah, all-wheel does work.
This is all-wheel drive.
I looked it up, bro. It is not.
Yes, it is. That's fucking.
It is all-wheel drive. It's a rally car.
Four-cylinder engine ever made. 4 bangers.
Well, we're still working on that. It's the chill spot.
Oh. Shoddy that I bought used
I love shotguns.
by actual SWAT teams. It's got to put that in the door. Beast.
But right now we're looking for sponsors for the gym because I realized quickly that, you know, gym equipment is real expensive. So if anybody wants to sponsor us.
Like posters, flags, all types of fucking shit in this
The
joint.
best lighting known to man.
I did buy One Piece flag, like the.
What did vegans eat during the Ice Age?
Same shit they be eating now. Ice Age doesn't mean what you think it means. Thanks for the donation, Godus.
Yeah, represents freedom. Freedom from government control, boy. Yeah, boy.
What I mean?
Is that a flower with any testosterone bottle?
Yeah, it looks like it is. It's thriving.
They get really good views. They're funny. Yeah, I find my workout videos and shit are a bit more boring because it's like just me and shit. Need my mom to do more workout videos with me so I can yell at her and shit.
An audience potentially falling out of love with the sport.
F1 definitely learns very quickly.
The 2026 Formula One season is embarrassing. Teams are demanding change.
They're staring into the void.
Drivers are threatening to leave.
The current regulations are not helping the longevity of my career in Formula One.
And one crash has changed everything.
Drivers complaining because they're not used to driving cars like this and they're having to relearn the way in which they drive.
Now the FIA are looking at 6 new rule changes to save the sport before Miami. I've been scrolling through social media and look.
Here's how you can fix it. Get rid of the fucking battery. Just move to like fucking V10s. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Looking at your comments, and the biggest complaint I've seen is the 50-50 engine split. But changing it mid-season is impossible and absolutely a last resort. So it most likely won't happen for 2026, but it is definitely on the table for 2027. Since the start of the hybrid era, the engine has been doing the heavy lifting by providing the bulk of the engine power, but in 2026, it has been nerfed. When cars ran out of battery in previous years, it was just a little annoyance, but now they lose around 500 horsepower.
Crazy.
So the FIA are considering an idea to increase the fuel flow limit. The current rules dictate just how much fuel can be pumped into the engine every second, but if you allow more in, you get a bigger explosion and more horsepower. But the problem with implementing this in 2026 is that these engines are highly sensitive and specifically designed to operate at specific limits. What everyone is hoping for is that the FIA does increase the fuel flow for 2027, giving teams more time to design new engines. It still doesn't solve the problems we have right now, but it could prevent the sport from tanking by 2027. Engine providers like Mercedes and Ferrari will need to design stronger engines, but with these two teams dominating, we could even see them fighting against these new rules entirely. But as the engineers argue over engine blocks and fuel flow for the future, the FIA need to find speed down the straight right now. Active Aero was the FIA's idea to take DRS to the next level. Instead of just having the rear wing open, the cars now also open the front wing. I still think that's super satisfying, just like when you hit that subscribe button. But just like DRS, it's limited to specific zones. It works just like DRS, with a button the driver can push to open the wings while it slams shut under braking. But unlike DRS, the driver doesn't need to be within 1 second of the car in front to activate this. Wherever they reach the zone, they can automatically open the wings and reduce drag by up to 40%. One of the suggestions is to remove these zones and allow drivers to activate them when they like. This opens up a grey area for engineers. Instead of designing cars for those specific active aero zones, they can now design chassis with dynamic setups. Ferrari has already played around with this in testing when they designed the Macarena wing. It also means that the battle for aerodynamic efficiency once again becomes important, and instead of just focusing on software updates, new aero packages can make all the difference. But most importantly, it could make racing interesting again. We might get to see who is willing to keep their wing open the longest, or it might just be disastrous and lead to even more crashes when drivers don't have enough downforce in the corners. Freeing up the active aero could allow drivers to save battery in between different zones, like that turn 10 and 11 section in Shanghai. It's more risky, but comes with a lot of reward. And finally, drivers like Max.
The battery's just fucking stupid. Get rid of the fucking battery. Just switch to V10s. What the fuck are we doing? Like, electric is just stupid.
Can actually make the difference again. But freeing up the aero doesn't matter if the driver can't control the car or has to spend most of the time managing complex algorithms. I mean, just look at a Formula One steering wheel. There are buttons for everything. The driver's thinking about what button to press more than they're focused on racing. So the suggestion is that the FIA simplify computer algorithms and give the power back to the driver's right foot. But let me back up a bit and explain. Yeah. The modern F1 car has hundreds of sensors.
Well, yeah, you know how you do that? Get rid of the fucking battery and just allow them to make V10 engines like in the good old days.
Well, if we take the total amount of data generated over the weekend by the car, including video and all sorts of ancillary information, it's probably close to 1 terabyte. or even a bit more per car.
But with the new rules, which are so complicated that even team principals don't understand them, teams have relied on computer algorithms to manage what power is deployed. Basically, the computer tells the engineer where the car should deploy battery power, and the engine is mapped to make this possible. The problem is that every team is doing this, and we have a situation where all 22 cars are deploying energy at the same spots. It wasn't such a big problem in the first 2 races, so we got those yo-yo overtakes. But now everyone is using similar mapping, and we just get cars following each other in deployment. What's even worse is that the FIA regulates some of these algorithms, specifically the ramp down when the car exits a corner. Currently, the driver needs to keep the throttle at 98% or more for 1 second to enter ramp down mode, and if they fail, the entire process restarts. Look back at Charles Leclerc during sprint qualifying at the Chinese Grand Prix. Leclerc was on a flat-out lap, then coming out on a fast corner, his Ferrari lost grip in the rear.
Good on through 11, but they're just struggling to get on power.
Quickly lifted his foot off the gas pedal by just a tiny fraction for a split second. The car stabilized and he got back on the throttle. We call it a brilliant save, but the computer algorithm didn't see a save. The computer only saw that the gas pedal lifted past the 98% threshold. The second Leclerc lifted to save the slide, the computer permanently cut the electrical battery power. When he put his foot back down, he had no speed left. His qualifying lap was completely ruined, not by a mistake, but by a line of code that didn't understand the context of the situation. This is what Max calls anti-racing. The solution is to simplify the coding algorithms, and instead of having a computer control what a driver can and cannot do, let them make the decisions. It sounds good on paper, but they have to get rid of these hungry batteries as well. Since the hybrid engines were introduced in 2014, the rule has always been that more is better. Recover as much energy as possible and then dump it. But the 2026 rules have pushed this too far. Originally, the cars were required to harvest and use 9 megajoules of energy per lap. It worked in Australia, even though we noticed it sounding shit. I mean, just listen to George losing power at the iconic Turn 11 at Albert Park. Or Kimi in Turn 1. So after China, the FIA realized that's just too much. So they cut it to 8 megajoules for quali in Suzuka. But here's what they missed. Suzuka is a traditional track. It has that insane S's section and the iconic 130R.
The line in 130R, and Alonso having none of it, straight around the outside.
Even at 8 megajoules, they couldn't prevent cars from super clipping and doing lift and coast into high-speed corners. So the next step is to reduce it even more, with 6 megajoules being thrown into the hat. It is still more than the capacity of the battery, but it brings us much closer to the racing of 2025. I'll get to that in a second. When we get to Miami, aggressive lift and coast might be a thing of the past, and drivers can drive the car as hard as possible. But here's the trade-off. Cars have less battery to deploy each lap, and the engine is still only producing 550 horsepower. So if Max was complaining about the cars being 2 seconds slower per lap in Melbourne, he might have to settle for 5 seconds slower in Miami. The FIA argues that fans would much rather watch a driver push a slightly slower car at the absolute edge, instead of driving the fastest car in the world like a Prius trying to save gas. But even with the battery usage reduced, cars are still super clipping, and the FIA wants to supercharge it. You're probably tired of the phrase super clipping. It's been stuffed down our throats since Bahrain testing.
These cars and engines, battery, like it's all super sensitive to your inputs. Yeah, it's just changing a lot every time that you go out. Sometimes you don't even understand why it's so sensitive, or so.
Thanks to the new 50-50 split in power deployment, a driver first needs to go slower to go faster. Before these regulations, the cars use the MGU-H and the MGU-K to charge the battery. But with the MGU-H stripped, all the battery recovery now falls to the MGU-K, which is directly attached to the crankshaft of the engine block. How it works is simple. Whenever the car hits the brakes, it generates kinetic energy that charges the battery for deployment. But here's the catch. The current battery can only hold 4 megajoules of power, while the car can deploy up to 9 megajoules per lap. So basically, the battery drains too fast, and the cars need to constantly harvest. The most efficient and mathematically reliable way to do this is through lift and coast. So instead of braking at the last possible second to maximize corner entry, the driver now lifts off the throttle, sometimes up to 200 meters before the braking marker. During this coasting phase, the physical resistance of the MGU-K dragging on the rear axle acts as a generator, which feeds the power back into the battery. This whole process is really efficient for engineers, but for fans and drivers, it kinda kills the sport. I mean, who wants to see Kimi coasting on a qualifying lap through the most satisfying section of Suzuka? It makes the car sound like shit and completely takes away the risk. Instead of making up those extra few tenths in the corners, drivers treat them like high-speed charging stations. Alonso even called it that.
Pero
pero las curvas rápidas ahora son puntos de recarga. Entonces,
But the most frustrating part is how sluggish these cars can look at the end of straights, and why you haven't really seen any overtakes this season into heavy braking zones. Max showed this in Japan. Instead of overtaking Gasly, he just stuck behind the Alpine, stating that if he overtakes into a braking zone, he just gets repassed on the next straight.
It was just very hard to pass. I mean, I could pass, but then I would get repassed straight away because my battery would be empty.
But to combat this, super clipping has been introduced, and it is basically a complex engine mapping strategy where the internal combustion engine is forced to produce more horsepower than the car needs to move forward at that moment. The excess power generated by the burning fuel is diverted into the battery to charge it, and we get those moments where it sounds like the car just lost full power. After the embarrassment of Suzuka, the FIA wanted to change it. Currently, the rule caps the car to harvest no more than 250 kilowatts during super clipping, and if a driver combines this with lift and coast, they can harvest 350 kilowatts. So LICO is more efficient and gives more energy in a shorter time. That's why you see so much lift and coasting. Now the FIA want to fix this by bumping the super clipping limit up to 350 kilowatts, matching the harvesting power of lift and coast. In theory, they won't have any reason to lift and coast and carry more speed into braking zones, and late braking might return. It fixes.
This seems like a overly complicated rule set when they could just go back to V10 engines.
The throttle pedal, but that's only half the battle. Quali's been another pain for drivers, where it's no longer the fastest driver that gets pole. To make a qualifying lap feel and look faster, the regulations must actually limit the peak electrical power of the car and smooth out the deployment curve. This sounds absolutely stupid and backwards. I mean, F1 is where cars used to push with everything they have until the engine blows out.
And it's flame! Oh, and Maxwell's off!
Now they need to limit power usage just to get the fastest lap, but when you look at the physics of aerodynamic drag at extreme speeds, it all makes sense. Think about sticking your hand out of the window of your car at 60 miles an hour. You feel the wind pushing back against your hand. Now imagine doing that at 220 miles an hour. Under the current rules, drivers were told to deploy 100% of their electrical power once they hit the straight. The car would gain an extra 350 kilowatts of power and rocket up to 220 miles per hour in seconds. Unfortunately, that drag drains the battery incredibly fast. So halfway down the straight, the battery dies. That's almost 500 horsepower gone, and the current engines aren't strong enough to push through the resistance, even when the driver goes flat out. They basically become a passenger in their car. But it is also really dangerous. If the car in front runs out of battery and slows down, but the car behind still has battery left, you get a 30 mile per hour speed difference in a split second.
Oh, he got to the pass, no!
that's a hard
Genius.
That's a big one.
So to prevent another Behrman incident, the FIA want to automatically reduce the electrical power even before the car reaches top speed. It limits how much battery the car can use and prevents it from suddenly just losing power. Basically, cars will be pacing themselves like a marathon runner. Nothing is
I don't know why there's this sudden fetish for fucking like battery power and shit. Like it's fucking F1 racing.
We're just warming up. Watch out, it's about to get serious. Now, this first clip that I'll play, I want to show you where it's taking place. We'll go to Deep State Map here. Donetsk City, so in eastern Ukraine, this is an area that was taken by Russian forces back in 2014. So you see the purple here was the start, the red to the northwest was as Russian forces advanced in 2022. Donetsk has been held by Russia since 2014. So this is a major logistical hub trying to keep the entire Donetsk front supplied. Now, it has been long within range of long-range munitions like the HIMARS, ATACMS, Storm Shadow, things like that. We know the quantity of those munitions has steadily decreased over time. This medium-range strike zone is what Ukraine has really focused on in 2026. So we know Ukraine has the long-range strikes inside of Russia. We know they have the short-range strikes, bombers and FPVs right along the front. This middle ground, 30, 50, 70 kilometers, is hammering Russian logistics, and it's a clear focus of Ukrainian operations in 2026. Now, turning to this first footage that was released by the 1st Ukrainian National Guard Corps Azov, they say they control enemy logistics near Donetsk. Pilots of strike UAVs are hunting for Russian logistics in the far operational zone. Drones keep all logistics routes around Donetsk under control. Not so long ago, the occupiers felt completely safe there. But from now on, all military targets moving on roads around Donetsk will be destroyed. There is no safe rear for the occupiers. It is impossible to hide and defend themselves. Ukrainian media United 24 added to this, saying,
Hi, boss. I hope you've been well. That e-bike disappointed me, but I got something else. They are actually shipping. They probably need work.
$500 watt, 36, 10 amp hour. 360 total watt hours. That's not much. You definitely want to use that with pedal assist the whole time. No battery. This sort of thing might be more of a project, but yeah, this might be a better idea. Because if you can get a custom battery made for this, or like just find some, you know, pre-made battery that you can just drop into this fairly easily with little modification, like that seems to be a, yeah, that seems to be some like weird custom battery hub thing. Because $50 for that bike, it has all the electrics in it. If all you needed to do was get some battery, that might be a better deal because you could get a very big battery for that. That will get you more range. Kind of depends on what kind of effort you want to spend. I don't know though, man. Like you can find a lot of pretty decent cheap Chinese e-bikes that are pretty okay for like less than 1,000 that work. Will likely come with a warranty and have a pretty good battery pack. I don't know. Because these are also used too. You have no idea what the condition of the battery is in with that used one. Like this. And it's 360 watt hours. Like that's really small. So you might be better off just getting a new bike. I've seen a bunch of Chinese bikes like that for 500 with a much bigger battery pack. Thanks for the donation, though, Vegans for Greenland.
In quote, Ukrainian drone operators from the 1st Corps of the National Guard Azov's unit have been systematically targeting Russian military logistics routes in and around occupied Donetsk, including areas more than 50 kilometers from the front line.
Would you get a Chinese e-bike if it was cheaper and good quality? I don't know what you mean by that. Cheaper than what? Why would I get it?
Footage released by the unit shows Ukrainian drones operating directly over central Donetsk, including near the Donbass Arena Stadium. Video evidence published by the unit shows drone strikes against Russian logistics vehicles, including transporting personnel, ammunition, and fuel tankers. Additional footage indicates Ukrainian UAV presence over key urban locations in Donetsk, suggesting expanded operational reach. This is significant in a lot of ways. So when you look at and we're going to get into Russia, Magyar birds actually just hammering air defense systems throughout eastern and southern Ukraine, those are only good for larger drones. So when you get a smaller drone at a longer distance, things like the Buk air defense cannot target it and effectively shoot it down. So when you get FPVs 50 kilometers over the front or beyond the front, it changes how you have to defend. And if one truck is hit on the ring road around Donetsk, around Donetsk, that changes how they operate. All of a sudden, it is a new threat that they have to incorporate into their day-to-day operation. So at the very least, you're talking about a disruption in the Russian line of communication, the Russian logistics chain, if not shut down. I mean, it's going to take a lot of drones over a long period of time to shut down some of these areas, but that does appear to be the direction that Ukraine is headed in terms of operational priorities in 2026. And to that, we got a pretty dark message from the Magyar birds where the G-rated, the translated version said, quote, the enemy, you're screwed. We're just warming up the engines. Watch out. It's going to get serious. And I'll play some footage here from Magyar where they released this statement. Jeez. The actual phrasing that I'm catching from their English-speaking Twitter or X channel is, quote, worms, you're effed. We're just warming up the engines. Buckle up. It's about to go all the way down your throat. Hate to be on the receiving end of that threat, especially when the capabilities look like they do. Now, in this footage, the 414th Unmanned Systems Regiment, Magyar Birds, released this clip showing the effectiveness of their strikes just last night. So one night of strikes. They said combined strike by the birds of the Unmanned Systems Forces on the night of April 16th against the enemy's layered defense, strike and support system. 3 air defense systems, 2 Iskander bases, the Rubicon base, 2 oil depots, and multiple logistics and support facilities. In total, 16 different military targets were struck. The Rubicon group and we just wrapped up an interview that should come up in a couple days here, where Rubicon is one of the more elite, kind of long-range Russian drone units. So going after them should, ideally, help open up some of the Ukrainian logistics a bit back from the front. But that's no joke. Iskander bases, right? Those are not forward deployed. Those are a significant ways back from the front. And as these air defense systems get knocked out one by one, and we've talked about this countless times, like it takes a long time to build those. They're very expensive. So even taking one out affects Russia's ability to lock down the airspace over certain areas. And in this case, we're really not talking about Ukrainian aircraft, helicopters, or fixed wing, but long-range strike munitions that could be intercepted with air defense platforms. So something like an ATACMS, a Storm Shadow, or all of the countless Ukrainian variants, the Flamingo, for instance, the more that these air defense systems are degraded, the higher likelihood those have of getting through. And Ukraine has continued to degrade Russian air defense since day one. Magyar is not letting up on that at all. Now, I do want to provide you guys with a quick fundraiser update. We are knocking this out of the park. It's incredible at this point. So just yesterday, we delivered 3 more vehicles to the Seraphim Battalion. It's a brand new drone unit being stood up within the 104th Territorial Defense Brigade. So we have already, all of us together, since February, provided 9 brand new vehicles, or newly out, will be in the description below. Now, with these medium strike operations being carried out by Ukraine, we are seeing a reduction in Russia's ability to continue pushing the front in a number of directions. I mean, they are still fighting for northern Pokrovsk, right? They are still trying to get things sorted around Kupiansk. There has not been a lot of steady Russian progress really anywhere along the front. It's been slow and it's been costly. What we're likely to see instead, and I think we're starting to see this campaign play out right now, is more long-range strikes carried out with Russian missiles and drones into Ukrainian cities across the country. In fact, last night, it sounds like the deadliest and largest barrage carried out by Russia in 2026.
I got this battery for it. I think I can convert the battery to this. It comes with the mounting plate. Just need to hook the wires up to this one. They use Samsung 21700 cells.
Let me see. Well, it's definitely better. That'll get you like what, 720 watt hours. That's much more usable. I would just make sure it's compatible, but yeah, that's a much more usable battery capacity. You could use something like that for just direct power, not just pedal assist. Thanks for the donation, though, Vegans for Greenland.
Took place. My understanding at this point is that at least 17 people were killed and more than 100 wounded across Kyiv, Dnipro, Odessa, and elsewhere. The Kyiv Independent said this overnight assault marks one of the deadliest Russian attacks on Ukrainian civilians of 2026. According to the Ukrainian Air Force, there were more than 700 munitions fired into Ukraine. That is a huge number. My concern is that we're going to see that number stay north of 500 and approach 1,000 a night at some point in 2026. The Air Force says that they were able to intercept 19 of 25 cruise missiles, 12 of 19 Iskander ballistic missiles, and 636 of 659 drones, Shahed, Gerbera, and other types. So it's a lot of munitions being intercepted or down with electronic warfare. It's also a lot getting through. I mean, even with those numbers, you're talking about, 6 cruise missiles made it through and impacted their target, 7 ballistic missiles, and then going to roll the dice in the math here, but 23 drones made it through. So the percentages there are high across the board, right? With what is the total? 667 intercepted out of 703. That's a lot, right? Unfortunately, the 1, 2, 3 that do get through cause significant damage, and in this case, loss of life. Again, 17 killed, more than 100 wounded. Ukrainian President Zelensky spoke to this, saying, quote, "Another night that proves that Russia does not deserve any easing of global politics or the lifting of sanctions. Russia is betting on war, and that's exactly how the response should be. We need to protect the lives with all of our strength, and we need to press for peace with all of our strength, too. There can be no normalization with such a Russia. Pressure on Russia must work, and it's important to fulfill every promise of help for Ukraine in a timely manner. There are many political commitments from partners that have already been announced, but not yet implemented. One of those that might be coming in the very near future is the 90 billion euro loan coming from the European Union that until now has been vetoed by Hungary, but with Viktor Orban losing the election last weekend, it looks like Hungary is probably not going to continue with that veto. It's 90 billion for Ukraine's defense industrial base that could be put to use here in the very near future. Not necessarily days, but certainly weeks or months. That could be in place for Ukraine to purchase additional air defense interceptors or whatever else they need. Expand the production line of some. So we got to.
Yeah, Russia's not gonna come out on top, that's for sure.
Pretty dark episode today, all things considered. Couple different Russian sources, not all too happy, not super optimistic, to say the least.
It's kind of crazy to me how Russians are so, complacent. They're, literally all just getting sent to the front line to fucking die. They're, they know they're gonna lose, and, it's nuts that there hasn't been some kind of mass revolt.
The first is complaining about the disappearance of Russian tank units. We might have an idea where they're going. And then another, a personal account from a Russian electrical engineer who volunteered to join the Russian army and found out the hard way that skill set doesn't matter. You join the Russian military in 2026, you are probably going on the assault. Now, quick update on a fundraiser we have going right now. This is a year-long campaign that we are helping outfit an entire drone battalion with new trucks in the 104th Territorial Defense Brigade. We're doing this through Car for Ukraine. We are 2 weeks into the spring campaign. We've raised 32,000 euros of a 97,000 euro goal. Well on the way to knock this one out of the park. So for those interested and able, check out the link in the description below. Now, starting with the first of 2 Russian assessments here, the first one coming from Wagner Kitten. This will be linked in the description below, where he complains about these tank units just being completely destroyed, stripped of their personnel and equipment. He says this specific account is from the 110th Brigade's Tank Battalion of the Russian Armed Forces. Quote, "In general, tanks are now hardly involved in direct combat operations, and therefore, every 2 to 3 weeks, 2 people from each company of the battalion are sent to the infantry and sent to storm positions." Talk about drawing the short straw there. I mean, he's going to get into this in a second. You don't have to take my word for it, like a Ukrainian analyst or the Ukrainian military. The Russian analysts themselves refer to people going into these storm units as being sent to the slaughter. His words, not mine. So think about drawing the short straw there. You're just hanging out in this tank unit, which no doubt is dangerous. And then every so often, you're going on the assault. And it just whittles down their forces. I mean, what he talks about here, he says there are no longer 3 platoons in each company. Those are only on paper. In fact, all of the soldiers have been sent to the storm units, have died, or are gone missing. Now it's the turn of the 2nd platoon. Recently, they were told to prepare another 2 people for the infantry. This is how tankers are unceremoniously disappearing. Then, most likely, the battalion will be abolished on paper. Since there are no people, there will be no tanks and no battalion. Now, what they're getting at here is we've seen an adaptation on the Russian side over the course of the last year, year and a half, 2 years, where they have really limited the number and size of their armored assaults. They have a lot more people than they do tanks and armored personnel carriers. So to keep the continuous advance forward and constantly pressure all across the Ukrainian front lines, Russia, in order to keep that up, has had to do it with soldiers on foot, on motorcycles, on ATVs, or on cars. Sometimes we are still seeing armored vehicles or even tanks. Earlier today, a video came out showing a Russian tank with a number of soldiers on board, kind of using it as a modified troop carrier. But when those big vehicles enter the kill zone, they get identified, they get at least heavily damaged, if not destroyed. Like everyone on the Ukrainian side is like, all right, there's a tank, let's get rid of said tank. So they don't last very long on the battlefield. So in turn, what Russia has started doing, has been doing now for a while, is just sending small groups of infantry forward. So what they're getting at here is they look at the tank units and say, well, we're not using the tanks, so we don't need as many tankers. We need more infantry. We need more storm units. We need more guys to assault forward, straight into the slaughter, as he says. He says, how to stop this? How do we expose this fact? People are ready to go into battle and defend their homeland, but it is a crime to dispose of tankers' lives in this way. Quote, I ask, please, whoever is responsible to stop this arbitrariness and the destruction of our tankers by their own absurd actions. I appeal to the Minister of Defense, to the Supreme Commander-in-Chief. I ask for your intervention. After all, it is an illegal practice to send tankers who have been involved in combat operations since the beginning of the special military operation, who have irreplaceable experience in tank battles, who know the tank like the back of their hand, who have orders, medals, to be sent to storm units for slaughter. If we could pause real quick, when you are referring to a type of unit in your own military as being sent to the slaughter,
I used to give a fuck, but now I just spill chemicals all over the concrete floor. Nature's sponge, nah mean.
It is just a concrete floor. Thanks for the donation, forgot my namification.
Slaughter? Like, again, this is not a Ukrainian analyst. This is not Preston Stewart's assessment of what these storm units are doing. This is a Russian analyst, and they say this over and over again. They're saying the storm units are sent to slaughter. That's insane that we have any country in the world willing to continue fighting a war like that. But either way, that's where these tankers are going. So the personnel are decreasing inside of these units. And the bigger issue is not just that they are labeled.
Wouldn't that be great to go through all this training and have all this experience fighting in tank warfare, and then one day you're told, yeah, just run out into an open field and get blown up by a drone?
Tanker and then sent to the assault, but the ones that are trained and have the expertise and have been in these tanks in some cases 3, 4, 5+ years, maybe before the war started, at the very least for a duration of this conflict, that experience is out the window because you're handing them a rifle and sending them forward through the kill zone as an assaulter. So there are certainly a few frustrations on the Russian side that they are squeezing every bit of manpower they can out of the military at this point. And we've even got next up here an electrical engineer who thought, hey, maybe they're doing that to tankers, to the combat arms guys, but I've got a skill set. They're going to use me. It's not how it actually works out. But before diving into that, a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Ground News. So the world's a little hectic right now, to say the least, which is why the sponsor of today's video doing about with just a little more clarity. All right, so turning over to this other assessment from Maxim Kalishnikov, where he tells the story of who he refers to as a, quote, optimistic lieutenant. And this is a story relayed to him by this lieutenant who says, quote, I signed a contract under firm promises that I would work exclusively in my specialty. I'm an electrical engineer. They say there's a shortage of people who understand this stuff in the Russian army. At the regiment's formation, the commanders talked about the glorious past and heroic present. They just admitted that by 2024, this regiment had already been completely replaced 3 times, except, of course, for the regiment's commanders. So
what a miserable way to go.
What they mean, again, this is the type of stuff, like you got to go back to World War II, World War I to get this type of figure around the casualties. What they're saying is, let's say the regiment is 1,000 people strong, that they have gone through all of those 1,000, replaced them all, gone through them again, replaced them all, gone through them again. They've fully replaced the entire regiment of soldiers 3 times. That was by 2024. It's 2 years since then. So that's insane. But he says, when I arrived at the regiment, I almost immediately fell out of favor with the commander and was assigned to lead assaults. In this regiment, electronics turned out to be useless. All the electronic warfare equipment ended up as scrap metal. But I went on with the assaults.
Oh my God.
We got thoroughly routed. You want to talk about how a military fails? Like, they might be able to continue operating for a period of time, but a military, a country, when you take somebody with a specialized skill set, right? The other example was the tankers. And it does take a significant skill set to understand how to operate those tanks and kind of become one with that piece of equipment. It's not easy to learn that. It's even harder to learn how to become an electrical engineer. So when you're taking those guys and saying that's all well and good that you got all that schooling, and you tell me there's not a single place across the entire front where an electrical engineer could come and use for the Russian army, get out of here. And saying you are as useful as a prison convict, essentially. Hand the guy a rifle, send him forward, you're in an assault unit. That is killing off the brain power, the skills inside of Russian society. That is not sustainable, not at all. Now, during these assaults, this specific engineer got wounded a number of times, but continued to be sent forward.
Once this is all over, like, Russia may, like, never recover from this. All the, like, smart, able-bodied men are, like, all gonna be fucking dead or severely injured where they can't work anymore, and, like, they're gonna have no productivity for a very, very long time.
He said, during the day, I got a shrapnel wound in my hand. I bandaged it and kept fighting. By evening, shrapnel hit my thigh. As it turned out, it pierced both a vein and an artery. He said the medic had bandages and an order to return everyone with intact limbs to the front line, and they didn't care about my swollen and bruised leg. He talked about how he had to crawl for over a day on the ground because he couldn't walk. His leg was so torn up. He gets back, they throw on another tourniquet, a couple bandages, and say, I don't know, the leg's still there. You got to keep fighting. Again, like, that's crazy for any soldier. This is a guy with a unique skill set that probably could be pretty useful in a number of different other positions. He said, the next morning I was again sent into battle, holding on to the soldier's body armor. We went to where we were again thoroughly routed. I got shrapnel in both legs and a piece of metal in my temple. I bandaged it and I forgot about the hole in my head.
That guy only has one tooth.
Several people drugged me back, all wounded themselves, leaving me every time when enemy drones appeared. Not everyone was lucky. The whole day was spent trying to reach what seemed to be like our own. And he talks about this a couple different times where the actual combat portion of this assault is pretty limited. Like, they get out in open terrain, they get hit pretty quick. And then the entire rest of his journey, if you will, is trying to find his way back to safety, back to the Russian lines where he can actually be bandaged. And it takes him multiple days because there's no party bringing him back. He said, quote, I ended up in a hospital where there was diagnostic equipment. They scanned my wounds and urgently sent me to Moscow for leg surgery. But they also examined my head and found a 6mm shrapnel deep in my brain. No one will discharge me for health reasons, so I continue to serve my motherland. This is how we fight.
Wow. He has a fucking piece of metal in his head.
Now, that type of deal is crazy for, like, any level of soldier, right? When we're talking about convicts coming out of prison, convicted murderers being heavily wounded and sent back into the fight, their capacity is significantly degraded, right? No matter what. They're just less able to operate after those wounds than before, and they're not the same level of soldier that they ever were, right? You have to allow these things time to heal. And we've heard countless examples from the Russian side since the war began of this type of thing. But I wanted to highlight this one because it's not just that soldiers are being sent forward while they are still very much wounded and should not be on the battlefield. I mean, what do you think he's operating at? 30%, 40%, 50% maybe of his actual capacity? But on top of all of that, that's an electrical engineer. You're telling me he couldn't be useful in a drone unit, an electronic warfare unit, in an air defense unit, aviation, anything? They're just plowing through manpower at this point. The personnel management in the Russian army seems suspect at the very least. But that's all we got for now. Again, both of those accounts will be linked in the
They don't care. They know they're not gonna win, so they're just trying to prolong the war for as long as they possibly can. That's absolutely fucking nuts. Totally insane.
the most powerful city in the world, 8 million people, the financial capital of the West, the pride of our nation. Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of New York City. And if you're looking at that sentence and thinking, wait, how did that happen? Congratulations, you have functional pattern recognition. Because here's what's actually happening. New York didn't just elect a mayor, New York elected a model, a fully assembled institutionally produced activist to government pipeline product packaged as youthful authenticity and sold as moral urgency. So, who is Zohran Mamdani? To understand Mamdani, you don't start with New York in 2026. You start about 30 years ago in a house in Kampala, Uganda. Now, he may have been born in Uganda in 1991, but Mamdani didn't grow up in the developing world. He grew up in a posh, sprawling apartment on Riverside Drive in Manhattan. His mother, Mira Nair, is an Oscar-nominated, Harvard-educated filmmaker, and almost every single one of her acclaimed films asks the same underlying question: what did the West take from the rest of the world? In 2013, she boycotted the Haifa International Film Festival in Israel, posting publicly, "I will go to Israel when the walls come down. I will go when the occupation is gone. I stand with Palestine." Mamdani's father, Mahmoud Mamdani, is an elite Columbia professor and one of the most cited post-colonial academics on planet Earth. He wrote the books on how Africa was colonized and how America, not Europe, not Asia, not the Middle East, America is the genesis of all colonialism. His core thesis is simple: the very foundations of the West and our most precious institutions don't liberate, they control. So, when people sell Mamdani as a working-class hero, understand what that actually means. He is the polished political expression of the worldview that lives in elite lecture halls and film festivals. He is a communist Nepo baby. When you're raised in that, when your family dinner table is a literal Marxist seminar, politics becomes your new source of actual meaning in life. Competence, performance, virtue are supplanted by insufferable activist credentials. You'd think Mamdani might be grateful to the West. After all, Western institutions granted him and his family great success. But, of course, he can't imagine showing an ounce of gratitude. Instead, he labels the West the villain, excoriates capitalism as the culprit, and calls all inequality the result of oppression. But have no fear. Our government can be the great redeemer. Just vote for Mamdani. Put him at the helm. That's exactly what he ran on to become the mayor of New York City. His need
Everyone's just going to be more broke and poor, and there's going to be more crime, and, that'll be that.
for power is funneled through the moral theater of the left, a coalition that thrives on grievance, high cost of living, and the promise that the government can fix spiritual emptiness with handouts. So, where in the heck did Mamdani come from? Before settling in New York City, the Mamdani family moved from Uganda to South Africa. In Cape Town, Zohran attended school during the early post-apartheid years, an experience he later claimed taught him that justice has to be material. Upon moving to New York City, he attended elite private institutions like the Bank Street School for Children. Experiencing the ultimate in liberal dichotomy, the Champagne socialists lived in extreme comfort while being taught how to advocate for radical redistribution. Mamdani's education continued at the Bronx High School of Science, an institution known for producing Nobel laureates and political
Mamdani couldn't even bench 135
leaders through a highly competitive entrance process. He then continued his radical formation at Bowdoin College, a hyper-elite liberal arts school majoring in Africana studies, a department that faced scrutiny for its focus on radical anti-colonial history and political theory. His capstone research project explored the works of Frantz Fanon, a psychiatrist whose theories of revolutionary violence and the total break from colonial systems provided the intellectual basis for today's leftist movements. Mamdani was not a passive student. He co-founded the campus chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine, a radical left-wing anti-American group, and used his platform as a columnist for the Bowdoin Orient to attack the college's administration for what he considered to be institutional bias. Following his graduation from Bowdoin in 2014, Mamdani entered a period of professional failure. He jumped from venture to venture, utilizing this period as the bridge from his elite upbringing to his radical political persona. The most notable of these failed attempts was one at a rap career under the painfully cringe name Young Cardamom. Young Cardamom. He appeared on the soundtrack to his mother's Disney film, released tracks about Kampala nightlife and South Asian diaspora.
Like, everything you hear about this guy, it just gets worse.
Identity, and described his brand as being built around, and I am quoting here, authenticity, movement, culture, the streets, and the youth. The streets? Dude grew up on Riverside Drive. Unlike yours truly, his rap career did not exactly set the world on fire, but it did leave one interesting artifact. A 2017 track surfaced during his campaign, in which Mamdani raps approvingly about the Holy Land Five. These were the leaders of an organization convicted of funneling money to Hamas. So, not exactly Hamilton. But here's what the rap career actually taught him, and this is what matters.
Jeez.
Packaging, branding, how to present radical ideas wrapped in the language of authenticity and youth, and movement, and the streets. He wasn't very good at it as a rapper, but he got considerably better at it as a politician. After his inability to deliver in the private sector, Mamdani fell back on what he knew best: activism, advocacy, and politics. In 2018, he pivoted to a role as a foreclosure prevention and housing counselor at Chaya Community Development Corporation in Queens, assisting low-income immigrant homeowners. This gave him the street cred he was looking for in order to claim that his policy proposals were born directly out of struggles of the working class. He then ran for office and won a seat in the New York State Assembly representing District 36 in Queens. But let's pause here, because what is equally important to answer, aside from who is Zohran Mamdani, is why did New York City vote for him? This has as much to do with the man and the system he was brought up in as it does the context and climate of New York City itself. The current problems of New York City only got this bad under decades of poor democratic governance. So how did it go from this to this? The city doesn't need to look at Venezuela or China or Cuba to understand where socialism leads. They need only look back into their past. From Mayor Robert Wagner Jr. in the 50s and 60s, responsible for unionizing the public sector, to John Lindsay, who despite his conservative ties governed like a liberal, expanding welfare rules, pouring borrowed money into housing. Then came Ed Koch and David Dinkins, who, while balancing the budget, refused to touch rent control. By 1990, the murder rate hit an unprecedented 2,200 dead in 1 year alone. Dinkins promised to heal the city through multiculturalism, but only ushered in the Crown Heights riots, sparked by racial agitators like Al Sharpton. Finally, in 1994, a desperate New York City elected Rudy Giuliani.
I mean, this is what makes it so bizarre. The city got better under conservative leadership. This old school dad philosophy of, work hard, make your own fucking money, lock up the criminals. It got better. And then they elect this idiot. You've already had that history.
Implemented broken windows policing, empowered the NYPD, cleared out the drug markets, and built up Times Square. Murder fell by nearly 70%. Welfare was slashed with work requirements, ushering in an era of growth and prosperity. He led the city with heroism before making way for Mike Bloomberg, who ran the city like a pragmatist, keeping crime low. But progressives cannot stand prosperity. Bill de Blasio and Eric Adams were no strangers to this idea. De Blasio ended stop and frisk as crime surged under a cashless bail policy. He dumped billions into making New York City a right-to-shelter city. Eric Adams oversaw harm reduction centers where heroin was actually injected under city government supervision. City budgets were shifted from libraries and police to ballooning welfare obligations. New York City was primed for Zohran Mamdani's run. He didn't win the mayorship by selling socialism as a word. He won by selling affordability as a crisis. Homelessness in New York City is at a Great Depression level high, with over 100,000 people sleeping in shelters nightly, up 175% since the year 2000. Less than 34% of New Yorkers rate their quality of life as excellent or good, down from 51% in 2017. The city faces a projected budget gap of $10 billion. The median one-bed Manhattan rent is over $4,000.
That's crazy. One bedroom. What the fuck? Do I donate $3? Let me see.
Can help you guys with? Well, I mean, we're just so upset that he voted for continuing this war in Iran. And if he had voted the right way with all the rest of the Democrats, this would have passed.
This would have passed.
It was 213 to 214. It would have been just the other way around.
Yes.
So why does he want to support Trump and this unprovoked war in Iran?
His biggest thing right now is that if we directly cut off this war, then that could leave the region really destabilized.
But
this war is so destabilizing the region.
And all this would do is give Congress its authority back.
No, and
How are these people allowed into these places? The Code Pink thing is I really hope I'm right, where they're getting investigated by the FBI or CIA and they just end up getting locked up. Oh. such a really good kitty. Fucking AOC. Talks about how less expensive it would be to have Medicare for all.
Love to ask this question as though it's a gotcha, but the reality is that there's actually a lot of different ways that you can pay for this. But I'll give you one, just as an example. I'm a member of Congress. My salary is public information. I get paid $174,000 a year. Now, I have to maintain
I would say she's overpaid.
apartments in 2 cities. That's a whole separate issue. I get paid $174,000 a year. I pay and kick in for my health insurance, and my employer kicks in for my health insurance to United Healthcare. I would much rather that money that goes out of my paycheck to go to Medicare instead of United Healthcare. It would actually, you don't even have to.
I don't know. I don't understand how people think there's no way to like have a socialized healthcare system in the US. Like, where's the money going to come from? People are paying privately with more money. So you would just be paying it through taxes. So rather than spending, like, it can vary a lot, but what's the median? I think the median is something like $500 a month. Median health insurance, USA. Average health insurance cost in the US is roughly $590 for unsubsidized marketplace plans. So Canadians are paying way less than that through their taxes. So I don't know why people get hung up over the, like, how would we possibly afford socialized insurance. You'd just be paying less money than that, but through your taxes.
Give me a break on it. I'm not even asking for help. It would be cheaper and it would help more people. And the care would be cheaper too. Even just letting people buy Medicare would be a step forward, and would introduce
I don't know what the fuck she means by that.
solvency to the system. But here's another thing to think about. This is the thing that people don't think about. Medicare right now covers people 65 and up for the most part, seniors. And seniors, older people, are the most expensive segment of people to insure. It is no shade. If we are all lucky, we will reach that age. But we are already insuring the most expensive population segment in America right now. If you started allowing young people to be covered by Medicare, they make systems solvent because they use it way less, but their proceeds go to helping everybody else.
Well, and they earn more money. If you're 65 or older, you're retired. So, yeah. It's not difficult to fund socialized healthcare in the United States. I think there should just be a private option, but everybody should be funding a socialized system through their taxes. So she's right about that. She's still an idiot, though. I know AOC is not hot. She's pretty for a politician, but she's not hot, and she's also a dumbass. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
A month with an affordable apartment vacancy rate of under 1%. And when people feel like the system is failing, somebody fills the vacuum. That's the setup for Mamdani. It's the reason he was elected. Mamdani has been extraordinarily explicit about wealth and class politics. Unlike most of his predecessors, he's completely out in the open. He advocates for defunding the police, abolishing cash bail and pretrial detention, universal rent control, public housing expansions funded by massive wealth taxes, sanctuary city maximalism, extended voting rights to undocumented immigrants, decriminalizing all drugs, sex work, and petty crimes, and implementing literal city-run utilities and government-run grocery stores. He advocates for bottomless welfare, fiscal irresponsibility, and hostility to the police. In June 2025, he flat out stated, I don't think we should have billionaires. He supports the anti-Semitic BDS movement against Israel. He falsely called the war in Gaza a genocide and publicly stated he would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he set foot in New York City. During his campaign, he posted a photo with Imam Siraj Wahhaj, an unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. He called Wahhaj a leader and pillar of the community while posing at a Brooklyn mosque. This is the platform he ran on to win. He beat Andrew Cuomo in the primary by 12 points, drove the highest New York City voter turnout since 1969. He won without the Jewish vote, he won without the moderate vote, which means the coalition that elected him doesn't need those voters anymore, which is pretty dangerous. Look, sheets don't just fall apart overnight. That's not how this works. There's no dramatic collapse, no single moment where it just kind of falls apart on you. Instead, 15% off exclusions apply. The centerpiece of Mamdani's early mayoral agenda was the use of executive orders to intervene in the market. He created a series of public hearings to investigate, quote, abusive landlord practices and hidden fees, signaling a move toward a citywide cap on all rent-related costs. This was followed by the establishment of a task force empowering the city to dictate the pricing models of private companies. He has proposed the creation of a social housing development agency to build 200,000 units of publicly owned.
He's just gonna like end up bankrupting a fuck ton of landlords, and these housing projects are never gonna get built, and they're gonna be massively over budget.
Owned union-built housing.
Same thing happened in fucking California. They tried a similar scheme, and they only built like a very small amount of like government-run units, and they were massively over budget
over the next decade. To fund this $10 billion annual proposal, the administration has advocated for a wealth tax and a massive increase in corporate tax rates to 11.5%.
We'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing.
You might be thinking at this point, well, it's just one city. But do the math. Although unlikely, under the city's charter, Mamdani could accumulate up to 16 years of executive control over the financial capital of the West. In other words, Zohran Mamdani could theoretically serve until 2034. He could sit out a term and then return in 2038, potentially governing New York City until 2046. By the time he leaves office, he'd be 54 years old, wielding 16 years of high-profile executive control over the financial
Yeah, that ain't happening. People are gonna get fed up with him real quick.
Capital of the West. People will tell you not to worry. They'll point out that historically, the New York City mayoralty is a political dead end. They'll remind you that Mamdani is constitutionally barred from ever becoming president. But if you think this movement is contained, you're fundamentally misunderstanding the radical left's strategy. They don't need Zohran Mamdani in the Oval Office. They need him exactly where he is, commanding a $100 billion budget, turning the crown jewel of American capitalism into a socialist beta test. They aren't relying on the old political pipelines because New York City isn't just a stepping stone, it's a broadcast tower. Mamdani's ideas will not stay in City Hall. The ideological loyalists Mamdani appoints today will take their New York resumes and infiltrate school boards, police commissions, curriculum committees, and zoning boards across the country. He's already hard at work rewarding the activists who paved his way. Mamdani recently established a standalone office of LGBTQIA+ affairs, handpicking Taylor Brown, a career activist attorney from the ACLU, and a man acting as a woman as its first director. On paper, it's about representation, but in reality, it's the institutionalization of the pipeline. Mamdani is creating a permanent command center inside the New York City government. Its job isn't just to provide services, it's to weaponize the city's bureaucracy, enforcing radical gender ideology across every city contract and school district, and ensuring that New York remains a sanctuary for policies the rest of the country is currently rejecting. Once the bureaucracy is solidified, they'll export that blueprint to Chicago, LA, Atlanta, and on. That's how you change a city, and then a state, and then possibly a country.
Yeah, people will get fed up with it real quick once they all go broke.
So, what do we do? The left didn't put a Democratic Socialist into the New York City mayor's office by accident. They spent 30 years building a farm system. We, of course, need to fund, train, and elect hyper-competent conservatives at the most granular level of local government. You stop a radical mayor by stacking the city council with pragmatists who gridlock his agenda. We need to attack the nonprofit industrial complex. The radical left is largely subsidized by the same system they claim to hate: the American taxpayer, the community organizations, the harm reduction centers, the housing advocacy groups. These are, in most cases, just left-wing PACs masquerading as charities, kept alive by municipal, state, and federal grants. We must aggressively defund this apparatus. If they want to dismantle the free market, make them do it on their own dime. We need to offer material solutions, not just cultural outrage. Conservatives cannot just be the party of socialism is bad. We have to be the party of here is how you afford a house. This means going to war with the regulatory state. We need to aggressively champion deregulation, destroy red tape, destroy zoning laws that prevent developers from building.
That is the biggest factor affecting the housing market, zoning.
Homes, smash the public sector unions bankrupting city budgets, and offer aggressive tax incentives to bring business back. We have to prove that free markets and law and order actually delivers the prosperity socialism only pretends to offer. Because, of course, that's what capitalism does. Socialism isn't compassion, it's elite vanity disguised as empathy, and it destroys the very people it claims to protect. Zohran Mamdani and his allies are betting that conservatives will eventually just give up and move away. They're betting the right is too fractured, too tired, too focused on national drama to fight a grinding block-by-block war for the future of our cities. It's time to prove them wrong. The left spent 30 years building the machine that took over New York. We have to start building the machine that takes it back. Today.
Yeah, I just see I just see him running New York into the ground, and then everybody's gonna get fed up with him. Like he's already raising rent prices. If he does this citywide rent freeze thing, he's just gonna bankrupt landlords. Nobody's gonna make any money. People are just gonna go broke, not be able to afford anything. And it's already happening. So you can promise a whole lot if you don't deliver and you end up delivering the opposite. People just aren't gonna vote for you. So I think he's just gonna turn the city into a shithole, and then he's not gonna get voted for again. That's probably what's gonna happen. But it's late. I think I'm just gonna head to bed now. I don't have to train tomorrow, and I'm not gonna have busy schedule tomorrow, so I should be on earlier tomorrow night. Like, I'll probably start streaming around 6 in all likelihood. So I'll see you all then. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. I'll see you all tomorrow, and then the next day, it'll just be an upper body day, so we'll get some more training stream, and then stream later, the usual. But thanks again, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow.